Take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on De La Rosa.
Well, we all know about his fastball, curveball, slider, and change. What you might not know, in his last 19 starts, he's 15-3 with a 348 earned run average. And among earned run averages in the month of September, he leads the National League at 1.04 in those 4 starts that he's had. He's been outstanding. He's really utilized that curveball, the big sweeper, 79-84. Used that against San Francisco to go along with the hard slider at 82-88. All-time wins in a season. He's just a couple shy. Jeff Francis has 17-9. Ritz in '97 was 17-11. And then Anastasio in 1999 was 17-11. So there's some guys chasing some career marks. And Mr. De La Rosa is one of those.
You cannot say enough about Jorge De La Rosa and what he's done, particularly since June 1st. The outfield's Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler in center, Brad Hoppen right, Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barmes, and Helt. And Yorvi Torrealba has started 17 of the last 20 behind the plate. Let's look at the Rockies' defense. By the way, for Yorvi, it is his 284th start behind the plate for Colorado. That ties Joe Girardi for most in club history in terms of starts behind the plate. What's Girardi doing these days, George?
He manages some team on the East Coast. He's lucky. He gets all the players and the money.
Yeah, guess that's one way of looking at it. Everett Cabrera, switch hitter, steps in from the right side. He's got a 6-game hitting streak. He's at 370 during the 6-game streak. So we are set for baseball, and we're underway. 9-game homestand for the Rockies. The first pitch of the ball game at 91 miles an hour in there for strike one. Ron Culpa is behind home plate, calling balls and strikes. Rob Drake, Jerry Meals at second. Mike DeMuro is at third. Big curveball. You know, and George, that's interesting because usually he works that in a little bit later on at home, and sometimes we see more of the slider.
Obviously, you got to think that he has some confidence in it coming from the bullpen when he warmed up and realized you have a good curveball that night. That's why it's so important for a starting catcher to go down to the bullpen.
He went around, didn't he?
Yep, sure did. They're going to call him out. Yeah. Cabrera's not going to run, so just go ahead and tag him, and he will be out.
Good start for De La Rosa. Yeah, he is not unfamiliar with striking guys out, George.
180th on the season. This one bounced right out in front of Torrealba, but a good job of blocking it. Dropped to the knees, ate the baseball. Cabrera's thinking, I didn't go around. Is De La Rosa saying, yeah, check it, because you did.
48 degrees, by the way, our game time temperature.
I've heard you complain about the cold now for about 5 minutes. You want me to get you a coat or anything?
No, I'm just getting ready. I'm getting ready for ski season. David Eckstein steps up, and he takes ball one. David, lifetime just 3 for 17 against De La Rosa.
Turn the heater on you if you want to. It's comfy on my side.
Because you got 3 heaters on.
I got the heater over here.
And this is chopped to third. Stewart won't find an easier play. 2 outs. Let's take a look at our Bird Automotive keys to victory. That blanket looks good there, George.
Yeah, that jacket looks pretty good, doesn't it? Well, it is cold outside. How will your players adjust to that? I think it's kind of like playing in Frisco. Everybody's got the heavy stuff on. De La Rosa on the mound, his feel for the baseball. At altitude sometimes, the hands dry out along with the baseball. Hard to hold on to it. And right-handed starters this year, the Rockies are 61-41 against right-handers. And Mexico obviously being a right-hander going against the Rockies in this ball game.
Adrian Gonzalez steps in. And the fastball's inside on Adrian. 1 ball, no strikes. Rockies had yesterday off while San Diego was completing a 4-game set in Pittsburgh, and they went to overtime. They had to play 11 innings. That's down low, 2-0. They won 11-6. They blew up Pittsburgh in the top of the 11th inning. They ended up taking 3 of 4 from the Pirates. They have now won 7 of 8 series. I know people just take a quick glance. They see the Padres are 13 games under 500. And they think, oh, the Padres are awful. Well, do your homework. The Padres are not awful. They have played very well the last month and a half for Bud Black. In fact, since July 28th, they're 31-20. They're 11 games above 500. You may not know all their names other than the guy at the plate, perhaps, David Eckstein. But they have a nice mix going right now. 4-pitch walk to Gonzalez. And that'll bring up a hot hitter in Chase Headley. Tonight is Tuesday. It is email the booth night. Here's how you do it. Log on to fsninsider.com. Go to the Rocky Mountain homepage. Click on the email the booth link, and we'll answer as many of your questions tonight as we can. It's brought to you every Tuesday by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com. Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. Well, De La Rosa got 2 quick outs. Now he's missed on 5 straight. National League leaders in walks. Adrian Gonzalez with 106. He's tied Adam Dunn. Just 3 behind Pujols. Headley was 5 for 6 yesterday in that 11-inning ball game. Now it's 2-0.
Well, what was interesting to me, and I wanted to double check this. I was having Doug look it up, because if he would have gotten it, he was just triple shy of the first cycle in the team's history. It's pretty good players play there now. Tony Gwynn used to be able to run. Pretty good hitter. You start thinking about some of those guys. Dave Winfield.
Well, you know, there's a couple of, when you talk about those types of streaks, George, where club hasn't produced, you know, in the case of the Padres, a cycle. They've been around for a while now. How about the Padres and Mets never having had a pitcher throw a no-hitter? And the Mets, their great history of fine pitchers. The Padres at Petco now.
Well, but before that, Randy Jones won a Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Gaylord Perry.
I mean, they've had
pretty good players come through. Their pitchers, Jake Peavy. I mean, they've had some guys come through that.
Hey, Chris Young went to. He took no hitters in the 7th inning a few times in his career. 2-1 on Headley. 3 doubles and the home run yesterday. This is back up the middle, and it's got topspin. It's going to go on through for a base hit. So Headley kind of picking up where he left off yesterday, and the Padres quietly with 2 outs have put 2 on for Oscar Salazar.
Look at this fastball right out over the plate, caught it up to the top side just to get it into the outfield and out of the reach of Barmas or Tulowitzki. Well, this year Salazar, this is one spot that he's obviously liked. Runners in scoring position, 429 average for Salazar with runners in scoring position. He's hit .291 since coming over in a trade to the Padres with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs in the National League.
And that misses. 1-0. He was acquired from Baltimore for the side-arming reliever Clay Meredith. 13th start. They're 9-3 when he starts. 1 ball, 1 strike. Padres shut out the Pirates on Sunday 4-0, and then followed that up with the extra inning victory yesterday. Good slide. 1-2. Salazar faced De La Rosa in his last ball game. Never got anything to hit. He walked 3 times. So San Diego has won 7 of their last 8 series, 12 of their last 16 series.
Well, when you've had a bad year like they have, obviously it gives you something to look forward to for the next year. There's some of these young kids that are getting opportunities. Normally they wouldn't. Traded for Tony Gwynn Jr. He did something. Edgar Gonzalez, the brother of Adrian, is playing in right field, shortstop. What Gonzalez has done, an all-star. And Headley playing third base. Typically he played left field. I mean, guys are getting opportunities due to injuries, to the lack of performance, due to the fact the club has sold and the payroll's got to be pared down. So Bud Black has had to do a lot of things maybe he wouldn't typically have done with this ball club, but it gives an opportunity to a lot of other people.
Talking to Adrian before the ball game, and he said the same thing he said a couple weeks ago. He's excited about the future. He really likes what has transpired the last couple of months. 3-2, so the runners will be off. And De La Rosa, after getting 2 quick outs, a punch out, and David Eckstein to bounce out, has created a little bit of a problem here.
Well, even though it's early in the ball game, Torrealba's got to recognize what pitch was working for him, whether it be the curveball, slider, change, whatever it is. This is the pitch you come with to shut this inning off.
Line drive center field. Fowler going back, and he's doing it. Oh, he missed the baseball. He missed the baseball. 2 runs are going to score. Salazar going to third with a triple. Wow, that was odd. He kind of cruised back, reached up as if he had it, and whiffed on it.
And obviously it's a cold night, but yet you don't think the ball's going to fly. But off of the bat, this had a ton of backspin on it, so it's going to get carried on the baseball. When Dexter went back on this, I really thought he had it in the back of his glove. He outstretched, missed by about 2 or 3 inches. Unfortunately, you find yourself down 2-0 to this Padre ball club. Don't make it any worse. Get out of this inning.
Talk about a harmless start. Punch out of Cabrera, and then Eckstein, who normally grinds out 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats. You get him out on the second pitch. 4-pitch walk to Gonzalez. Headley bounces one up the middle, and then Salazar hit that very hard, but looked like it was slightly misjudged by Dexter Fowler, and it's 2-0. He went around. 0-2 on Edgar. The other thing, you're forcing your starting pitcher, De La Rosa, and some of it's on him naturally, but now he's going to have to throw an extra number of pitches. 22 pitches in this first inning, 23 now. 12 out of the strike zone.
Well, all compounded, you know, after the single up the middle, you have a walk you're dealt with, and then this long fly ball to center field. But you got to shut the faucet off. You can't allow this other run to get in when you're working ahead.
And now it's a full count. To third. Nice pickup by Stewart. 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. 2-0 San Diego. 52-year-old has done a marvelous job. Todd Helton will be in the 3-hole, and then it's Tulowitzki, who's the reigning National League Player of the Week. Brad Hopp has hit over 500 this year against San Diego. Torrey Alba as hot as anybody, particularly if you put men on base. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, and De La Rosa to face Edward Mujica, who the Rockies faced on 9/11. And he went just 4 innings because he was making his first start coming out of the bullpen. It was on a pitch count. But he didn't allow any runs, just 2 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. He confounded the Rockies in those 4 innings.
Well, just sinker slider, most like a lot of guys coming out of the bullpen. A guy that throws 88, 93 miles an hour fastballs. He works both sides of the plate. His next start, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs. That ball game against the Arizona Diamondbacks, he didn't walk anybody in that game. And he's only walked 16 batters on the season in his 85 2/3 innings pitched.
And a good start. This ball's going to run a little bit. Carlos Gonzalez will get at least 2, maybe more. In fact, it goes to the wall. Gonzalez, who's heading to third, he'll get there easily. Leadoff triple for Cargo. That's a fast outfield, George. And once it hit, as hard as it was struck, you knew it was going to run.
Well, plus you got a little moisture on the ground. It's going to help this ball to carry a little bit too. When it hits, it's going to skid and take off through the outfield and out into these big gaps. All you can do is line up for cutoffs. If you think you're going to have a shot at it, Gonzalez recognized where the ball was hit, how it was being played off of the wall, took off, made the turn, picked up Richie Dower, and headed on to third base.
Dexter Fowler fouls off the first offering.
And don't take any huge swings here. Just try to take swings that are going to get a productive swing. Pull the ball to the right side. They're up 2-0. They're not going to do anything to try to prevent this run from scoring unless you absolutely punch out or hit a ground ball right at third or first.
This is just Dexter's 4th start in the month of September. Start of the month he was on the disabled list. Came off on September 9th. Smith's been swinging the bat well, and of course Gonzalez plays every day now. The 0-2 again fouled off. Dexter from this side of the plate has hit 245. From his natural side, he's hit 322. Got back out on him, don't you?
Call the balk.
They call the balk. Wow.
So all the way out from second base, called that balk. Second base umpire Jerry Mills saw something.
Well, the Rockies got one back without a home run. The number 2 hole hitter still up there.
Now take a look at this from Mujica on the mound. What did he do to create this balk? You cannot start and stop. He's in the windup. Just some deep breathing going on right there. But if he started to move those hands at all,
there it was.
Right there. Yep, started to rock forward, started to move the hands. And once you start to see that movement, obviously you got to commit and go ahead and continue to deliver. A little unusual to be in the windup with nobody out and a runner at third base, unless he's just saying, you know what, if they squeeze, they squeeze. They can have the run. I'm more comfortable right now to the windup. And that's where I'm going to go.
Now he falls behind 3-2 after being ahead 2 strikes on Fowler. Boston National League. Padres have 8 of them. That's second to the Mets. And Dexter bounces it to short. Cabrera fires it into the seats. Fowler's going to end up at second base. And George, you mentioned it on the outfield draft. That ball he picked up, I guarantee you, had some moisture on it.
Well, that has something. That's his 17th, 18th error on the season. Because this is typically a guy that makes a lot of errors on ground balls because he has such tremendous range in the infield. But on this ball, let's watch how he worked under it. Did he stay behind it and through it? Well, he stayed pretty much behind it. He just airmailed that thing. Here, you want to play catch with me? Ha! Came to the game, you didn't know you were going to get to catch one on the fly, did you, from shortstop?
So nobody out. The tying run at second base. Here's Helton. That's back-to-back ball games that Cabrera has made an error. On the corner for a strike. Todd had a rough road trip. Helton was just 2 for 24 on the trip with 8 strikeouts, which is really unusual because Todd, going into that road trip, was the toughest guy in the National League in the second half to strike out. And a base hit to left. Salazar with the baseball quickly. That'll force Fowler to shut it down at third base. So the Rockies have runners at first and third as they counterpunch against Mexico.
Well, I just looked up against the wall here. It's starting to rain a little bit harder at Coors Field right now, so you're getting more moisture down as we look at the Fidelity scouting report. Mr. Mexico, 88.93, 82.94. That slider turned cutter. That should be 84 there. Normal depth on the slider. Changeup 77.83 with a circle to go with it. And you won't see that pitch from him very often just because coming out of the bullpen. It's a kind of a work in progress for him. Had over 160 appearances in the big leagues, all out of the bullpen prior to the starts the last couple of games.
So up steps Troy Tulowitzki, who yesterday was named the National League Player of the Week. He had a home run in 4 straight ball games last week. Hit .391 for the week. Outside. For the road trip, he and Torrealba carried the offense. Troy on the trip, in which the Rockies were 4 and 5, hit .394 with 5 jacks. Torrealba hit .379 on the trip. 1-1. So there are the numbers on the Player of the Week. 913 slugging percentage. Second Rocky this year to hit a home run in 4 straight road games. Carlos Gonzalez did that earlier. That's a strike, 1 and 2.
Yeah, I noticed one thing. I noticed this over in San Diego too. They really like to work away, particularly Blanco behind the plate on Tulowitzki with the upright stance. You know, you look at all the home runs that Tulo hit. It's on the middle half end and up a little bit. So what they're trying to do is work him down and away to the outside corner and keep the ball out of what they call that turn zone on the inside part of the plate.
Now Mexico gets a strikeout on Tulowitzki. So he can't bring Fowler around. It remains a 2-1 ball game, and Brad Hopp coming up. Here is San Diego defensively. Oscar Salazar, Tony Gwynn, Edgar Gonzalez in right field. In the infield, it's Chase Headley filling in for Kevin Kuzminoff. Still has a calf injury. Cabrera and Eckstein up the middle. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Henry Blanco, very good catch and throw receiver.
I'll try to get something you can lift up into the air. Cabrera with that 18th error of the season. Giving the Rockies an opportunity to come back into this thing and tie it up. There's Bach to run in after a leadoff triple.
A great opportunity for Brad to get the homestand started right. He had Sunday off, so he's had 2 days to rest. Trying to snap an 0 for 16 slide with runners in scoring position.
Well, yesterday marked the first day that all the teams that are in the playoffs are having an opportunity to send out all their advanced scouts. The Rockies have guys covering St. Louis, Philadelphia, the Dodgers. Tonight at the ballpark, the Boston Red Sox are here with 3 different guys. The Dodgers have 3. Philadelphia, the Detroit Tigers.
This will get the run home, and then some, perhaps. This is good. 3-run home on the left. That ball just carried and carried. I'm looking at the flags, George. There's no wind. Brad just hit it out the other way.
It's been a while for him to get an RBI, and he's going to get it in a big way. He has 79 on the season now after this home run here in the first inning. Put the Rockies right back on top in this ball game, 4-2.
Well, that is counterpunching.
Big swing by Hopp on the ball down and away from him. He's going to toss the bat away, thinking to the left. All right, this ball I know is going to get the run in from third. He had no idea he'd get to join him and add to the total. And that's exactly what happened on this pitch down and away from him. Big swing, powerful swing.
And he now has his 4th season of at least 20 home runs. Yeah, that's a great way to start the homestand. 4-2 Colorado. His first home run since August 29th. Torrealba takes a strike. And this could be in a tough location. Headley came up with it. And he's able to get Torrealba by a step. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Ian Stewart. Now the Rockies struggled to score on that road trip until the last couple of days when they produced 15 runs down in Phoenix. Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell, because when the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. 4 tacos for $1. That pitch misses. Stewart, an RBI in 4 consecutive ball games. 2-0. And for Stewart, he has hit a home run in 4 of his last 5 ball games here at Coors Field. And this one would have been a home run, so it's going to go foul. Almost landed George up the Mountain Ranch Club.
Now let's go back to that home run he hit in San Francisco, 421 feet. That was skyrocketed, and you just kept going and going. It's like the Energized Bunny. It never did stop.
Yeah, he hit that ball out to where few people hit balls out. Who said it? I think Jim Tracy said it. Maybe Bruce Bochy said it after the game. He said the only guy who hits balls out there is Barry Bonds. 2-2 on Stewart. High 3-2. Mejica has already thrown 26 pitches. Bud Black told me earlier that Mejica could go 80 to 90 tonight. They stretched him out a little bit more from when the Rockies saw him a little more than 10 days ago. Outside. So the inning continues. The 8-hole man, Clint Barmes, comes up. And we're going to get Darren Balsley to the mound.
Yeah, kind of regroup, get your thoughts back where it should be. I mean, it's disappointing. He pitched well in those 8 1/3 innings, just a couple of runs given up.
First email of the night comes from William. Depending on the pitch, how much control does a batter really have to hit the ball into left center, or assuming right field, depending on the left center or right? I'm sorry. Depending on the situation.
There's great hitters that have tremendous back control that are going to hit the ball hard. Now they can't go up and just say every time I'm going to go into left center, right center. I think there's a few guys in the game, Todd Helton being one of those, that has that kind of back control, that he can shoot it through different areas of the infield of where the ball's thrown. But for Carlos Gonzalez to go up in the first inning and say I'm going to hit one in right center field if he gets middle half in, that's a little hard to do. You're just trying to make solid contact on the baseball. The best exhibition, and everybody, my partner's a little young to remember all this stuff, but when I used to watch McGuire and hearing people at ooh and awe and Sammy and Bonds with their deal, the most impressive batting practice I ever witnessed was Reggie Jackson in Yankee Stadium. He called 3 shots on 3 pitches, and he went to left field and center field, and that's when center field was 430 feet from home plate. And then he went to right field on 3 consecutive pitches. From a batting practice pitcher, regardless of how's the speed, velocity, whatever, he's still throwing the ball. But to me, that was one of the most impressive feats I'd seen of a hitter in quite some time.
Outside on Barmes, 2-1.
The last 5 minutes of batting practice was Reggie time. Everybody got out of the cage in New York.
He earned that right. 30 pitches here in the opening inning for Edward Mejica. Formerly with Cleveland, first reached the big leagues in 2006.
The pitch count obviously plays a huge role till September 1st, and then you get these expanded bullpens. And if a game gets out of hand, this is when a manager will go get a guy, Piorda, the guy out, left-hander out of the bullpen, to get him out there and say, you know what, you're going to have to work 2 or 3 innings tonight. You may get 4 innings tonight. Well, the expanded, the way they are, it just gets Mejica out of the game quicker, and you get some new meat out there.
Well, the Rockies had a disappointing top half of the inning and given up 2, but they're able to produce 4 of their own. bottom of the first. And the highlight, a 3-run opposite field home run from Brent Hart, his 20th of the year. This evening's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Mark, first and foremost, how is the weather?
You know what? I have thrown a suggestion into the Rockies dugout via Paul Phillips. I said, tell the pitchers to work quick tonight. That would be helpful. It's annoying. It's raining, but it's not too bad. A little bit chilly, but this is how De La Rosa had it in San Francisco on occasion. He's been good there. Hopefully he's going to be good again tonight. I had a discussion with Paul Phillips about Jorge De La Rosa. He caught De La Rosa in Kansas City a few years ago when they were both on the same team, obviously. And I said, what's the difference now? Kind of came up with 3 C's. First being command of his fastball and then all the other pitches. The second being the confidence that brings Jorge De La Rosa. And the third, the calming that it brings him on the mound. Now, he didn't have a great first inning, and he got a little upset in the dugout, but he's calmed things down. We've talked about this over the course of the year, and he's been able to keep his emotions in check. And another thing, George, you can maybe comment on, too, because I asked some of the guys about the little hesitation he has on the hill with his delivery, and whether that's something that Apodaca has kind of put into his rotation and into his approach to the plate or not. It's been a little bit different. Paul Phillips did not remember that from Kansas City.
Well, it slows everything down. That ball's going to curve foul there. It just kind of allows him to get his arm in a position every single time. But when he gets into the stretch position, obviously he doesn't do that. By the way, I want to say this, Mark. Those 3 C's you came up with, I don't think Phillips came up with that. I just think you did. And you said, what do you think of these 3 things? And he said, yes.
I didn't even mention it to him, but I thought it sounded good.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about a guy that gets hit in the mask all the time.
You're right.
Here's the 1-2 on Blanco, and he hits it in the air to right. Hop has it, 1 out. Well, the Rockies with their next 9 right here at Coors Field. The competition, the Padres, the St. Louis Cardinals, whose magic number was 3 beginning the day to win the Central. And then, of course, the Milwaukee Brewers come to town. The Rockies have the 2nd best record in the National League at home. They're 18 over 500 at 45-27. The Giants slightly better at 48-26. Though the Rockies have won 38 of their last 52 after a poor start at Coors Field. That pitch to Tony Gwynn is inside ball 1. The Rockies were 7-13 through their first 20 games at 20th and Blake. And since that time, they have been very, very difficult to beat. And Gwynn takes a strike at 94 miles an hour. 1-1 as we check another email. Chris, what has been the key to Jorge's dominance since the beginning of June? 15-3. George?
Strikes. Throwing strikes. Not panicking when he does have a little bit of traffic on the base pass.
You know what else?
His ability to throw the breaking ball when he's behind in the count. I think there's a combination of things that kind of set him off. And You know, his arm's always been well thought of in baseball. There's no question about that part of it. He just couldn't harness the strike zone. He panicked when he got into situations. I just think there's some guys out there that go unnoticed sometimes with the Rockies, and one of those guys is Ron Fetich, who has done a tremendous job at working with some psychological things with De La Rosa on his approach on the mound, his thought process. Anything different than just, you know, talking about baseball. I mean, it's about the mental side of things, and Ronnie does a great job of that. Works throughout the minor leagues and is here with the big league club now.
Yeah, Ronnie was on the tail end of the last road trip. Very, very highly regarded with the players.
Well, the biggest thing that he does, everybody trusts him. You know, and then you feel like you can really let go because, you know, this is a macho game. You know, it really is. All sports are. But, I mean, you know, baseball, football, basketball, it's a macho thing. You don't want to sit down with a teammate and you go, you know, sometimes I just don't feel as confident. You know, you're just not going to do it.
Right.
You know, man, I don't know about this team. I don't pitch good against this team. You're not going to do that. But you can sit down and do that with Ronnie. And he'll try to help you work through the thing and do some things on the mental side of it to get it in the right direction.
Mahika trying to lay down a bunt. He does. De La Rosa's got to go to first, and Barmes covers, 2 outs. And George, to that point about De La Rosa and the job Ron Fetich has done, I think in baseball more than the other major sports, because they're so reactionary. You know, you miss a layup in the NBA. Let's say you're running up and down the floor, you D up the guy. Next time down the floor, boom, you get a run out, you make another layup, and you forgot about the one you blew. In baseball, you got to wear it. You have a bad outing as a starter, you have to wear it for 5 days.
Full
you have
5 days,
a tough ball game. Offensively, you got to wear it for 24 hours or a half hour between at bats.
And the other thing that bothers you probably in baseball too is you don't just have one guy shooting a free throw at the end of the game that misses, that cost you a game. You got 3 guys hitting. And of course that gets overemphasized. And you know, a lot of times guys say, well, what's he done after the 7th inning in his career? You know, is he a money guy? What is he as a hitting in the 4-hole? And I think that's where I think all the sports kind of collide, if you want to put it that way.
That's down well.
You know, did he miss a free throw? Did he give up a home run? Did the kicker miss the kick? Did the guy miss the putt? Did he jam it in the net in tennis? You know, all those things. But it's always on the last winning point that gets overexposed. They don't look back at the 5 missed opportunities that they could have had to score, the 9 turnovers they had prior to that one.
Yeah, the focus is always on the final play. 1-1 on Cabrera. Swung on a miss, 1-2. One more point. We'll make others on De La Rosa, I'm sure, throughout the night. But Chris asked a very good question. You know, why the dramatic turnaround? First of all, he wasn't bad in the first 10 ball games. He pitched in some tough luck, didn't get a lot of run support, and that's why he didn't have any wins the first 10 ball games of the year. But I was talking to Jim Tracy about this. That last ball game that he threw with the Rockies losing 5 in a row and being just a game and a half up on the Giants, that's high. That will go a long, long way in further uplifting a guy whose confidence has grown throughout the year, because now George, he can, anytime he gets in a situation postseason, he can reflect back and say, I was pitching in front of 40+ thousand at AT&T Park in a huge critical ball game, and I threw a 3-hit shutout for 8 innings.
And you had to do it.
And he had to do it. And he had to get a punch out there to keep it a 2-run game, and he did on Cabrera.
And by the way, 6 of those first 10 starts, 2 runs or less for De La Rosa, came up empty-handed or a loss.
You might be talking about a 20-game winner.
Absolutely.
Rockies leading at 4-2, middle of 2. Back in a moment. Up 4-2 with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Mark Stout is battling the elements downstairs. De La Rosa takes a strike there. It's 1-1 on Jorge against Edward Mexica. Rockies got a leadoff triple in the bottom of the first from Carlos Gonzalez. Dexter Fowler reached on an error. Todd Helton singled after a Tulowitzki strikeout. Brad Hopp hit an opposite field 3-run home run. And the Rockies have a 4-2 lead on Mexica. Took Mexica 31 pitches to get through that first inning. De La Rosa wastes that pitch.
Hey, by the way, that blanket you got wrapped around it, keep it off the heater, wait.
Fire hazard?
Well, a little bit.
This ball to Cabrera at second, and you know what, George, he threw the changeup over. Yeah, he didn't throw the heater over. He threw the changeup over. Watch Cabrera
You're thinking,
here.
as soon as it left his hand, Drew's thinking this thing's airmail, but he kind of flew the loop-de-doop on him. He just flipped it up in the air with enough on it that he knew it was going to get over to Gonzalez, but he wasn't going to eat it up.
You thought too for a second.
No, I didn't think so for a second. I thought maybe De La Rosa might have. Yeah, there's the guy going, hey, wait a minute. Honey, run up and buy a glove real quick. Come back. Go up to the shop and get me a glove. George, I got a chance.
This is good. Carlos Gonzalez is out of the ball game. Seth Smith's pinch hitting for him. And we just got a report from the clubhouse. Left hamstring tightness. And if you remember how he ran on that triple, it didn't look like he was running full throttle. Well, you hope that's more precautionary and there wasn't a pull already, because the Rockies cannot afford to lose him. So Smith in the game for Gonzalez. He has hit Mexica well, 2 for 3, including a home run. This ball sliced down the line and left, and he's now 3 for 4 off the bench and into the book. Smith with a double. Watch him run, George. This is Carlos on the triple.
Well, what you're going to pick it up at is the more you accelerate, that's when you're going to start to see some tightness, and maybe the stride's starting to shorten up a little bit. Right there at the very end, maybe is the only thing I really saw. He kind of gave a clap of the hand when he went in.
Now let's just watch him. Can we keep rolling the tape? No, I'm sorry, we can't roll it any further. When I remember, because I was watching, when he reached down there, it wasn't to grab his hamstring, it was to take the guard off his leg. So hopefully it's not serious. George, you get into September and you played in a lot of cold weather cities.
Play smart.
Yeah, I mean, but you played in a lot of cold weather cities, and all of a sudden, you know, it's warm, and then you show up at the ballpark and it's 35, 40 degrees. Harder to get the muscles loose.
Well, it is, but that's where you got to make sure that's what you do, just that. You got to make sure that you do stretch everything. Give yourself that opportunity. A soft fly ball to center field, and Glenn will play it off and get it back to third base.
Two outs. Todd Helton will come up. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Tony wants to know what's meant by the term back foot slider. How is that different?
I ain't telling you.
Than a normal slider?
I'll tell you. Give me a shot at home plate, guys. Left-handed hitter up there. I'll tell you, back foot slider. See the back foot of the left-handed hitter there, Tony? What you're trying to do is to position the baseball. Todd, stay in there. We're trying to explain something. Back in the box. Thank you. Right back here in that little dirt spot's where you want to try to throw it. So it comes in, appears to be the fastball, and you throw it to the back foot, around behind that back foot. There it is, right there.
Right there.
On cue. And because when hitters hit that, Tony, what's going to happen is the ball's going to typically get pulled foul territory. It's a very hard pitch to keep in fair territory. See that ball start to dive, help trying to clear. See how that front foot went over? That may have been a changeup, but it went clear everything off so he can get to that pitch.
I'm going to have you if we get one more pitch. We are. That's a strike. Now show the backdoor slider, George.
Well, you want to explain an awful lot. You got $1?
No, you get the same pay you get every day.
What you're trying to do is here's the strike zone here. Okay, here's home plate. So what you're trying to do, one slider's down here, the other you're trying to throw on that outside corner. You're trying to work to the outside part of the plate.
There's the back foot slider.
Yep, trying to get him to swing at it again. It just started low, stayed low, and helping being the hitter that he is. He just kind of looked at it, said, "You know what? I'm not swinging at that."
Helton hitting at .336 at Coors Field this year.
That's it?
Yeah, it's below what he normally would do. And that goes to the backstop. Smith will move to third.
Should be a wild pitch on Henry Blanco, or a pass ball, I mean, on Henry Blanco. But the only reason I say that, folks, is because Henry is such a good, very good receiver. But one thing that he does do, he just tries to take the ball. He doesn't move a lot. Watch this. See, don't see a lot of connection on the baseball. No, pass ball on Mr. Blanco as it goes to the wall.
And that is unusual. 3-2 on Todd, and a bouncing ball up the middle, and it'll get through. So Helton has driven in his 79th run. The Rockies lead 5-2. And Todd is 2 for 2.
Well, regardless, wild pitch, pass ball. Anyway, he'd probably, obviously, Smith's probably going to score on that from second base because it's a ground ball up the middle. The only difference for you at home that score on a pass ball, if you advance on a pass ball, it's not an earned run. It is on a wild pitch.
And now Tulowitzki is second look at Mahika. Outside, ball one. Troy 0 for 6 against Mahika. Fixing to change that. 2-0. Since the All-Star break, here are the top 5 in slugging percentage in the National League. Derek Lee, Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ryan Howard. There's the top 5. And Carlos Gonzalez is 9th. 2-1. Tulo is slugged at .614 since the All-Star break. And that's total bases divided by at bats. And this is a high fly ball to right field, pretty deep, but playable for Gonzalez, and he'll make the catch. Right as his feet hit the dirt. Todd Helton, ground ball single up the middle to drive in the Rockies' 5th run. They're up 5-2 as we go to the 3rd. And Prince Fielder will be here for 3 ball games. Our E470 road ahead. Jorge De La Rosa has a 5-2 lead. He will see David Eckstein, Adrian Gonzalez, and Chase Headley here in the third. Eckstein hit a one-hopper to Ian Stewart his first time, and that pitch misses. Seth Smith is now in left field for the Rockies. Carlos Gonzalez, with again tightness in a hamstring, has had to depart. 2-0.
By the way, the Cardinals are up 7-1 over Houston, and the Cubs up 7-1 in Milwaukee.
Earlier, Philadelphia beat Florida 9-3
in the first game.
Oh, they're playing a double dip.
Yep, seventh inning right now. Florida on top 3-0. Atlanta's beating the Mets 2-1.
LA is leading Washington.
Wow.
14-2 in Washington. That's in there for a strike. It's 3-1. You know, we haven't talked a lot about it, but it will be next to impossible now to catch the Dodgers. Be very difficult. I shouldn't say impossible.
Why worry about it? You got to beat everybody anyway.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You got to beat everybody anyway. Well, imagine that. Eckstein working a walk.
And the reason being is the Rockies started 5 games out, but it's really 6 games, because if they end in a tie, the Dodgers have the tiebreaker. All right, St. Louis comes to Denver in a couple of days. There have been changes to both teams since the Rockies swept them in St. Louis. Which changes do you think will have the biggest impact? Well, they've already had, that's from Barry. And Barry, they've already had large impacts, the changes that have been made. Matt Holliday obviously has had a huge impact on the St. Louis Cardinals offense. That pitch is inside, 1-0. And for the Rockies, they've made a number of additions. Jason Giambi and Rafael Betancourt, George, for me, have had the biggest impact so far.
Well, but the thing with, you know, the Holiday came in August, too, so that's a little bit longer. Betancourt came in August. That's going to help you in the latter part of July. Giambi's impact has been just since September the 1st. But the one thing that you got to go back to, and I preach this a lot, it's the same starting pitching staff that shut them out and swept them in St. Louis. And Aaron Cook will start on Friday. So I mean, it's that same staff that's going to go out and pitch against them again, with the exception of obviously they picked up Contreras. But pitching and defense win baseball games. By the way, see, if you didn't read the paper or watch any newscast, anything else, Cecil Cooper got whacked in Houston, fired, gave him a 2-year contract extension.
Dave Clark, the third base coach, takes over. That's a real late firing. 3-1.
Well, he said, you know, here's what got me. He said, I got to
find a zone.
Ed Wade said, I got to make a change. And I knew I was going to make a change, so I just decided not to wait till the end of the year. It's another week, 10 days. 2 weeks. I mean, come on. Wait 2 weeks, fire the guy.
It didn't make a lot of sense.
Must have been some words said behind closed doors that probably shouldn't have been said by somebody. And if you think about it, Cooper was only 1 game under 500 as a manager overall there.
About a month ago, Houston very much in the race.
Well, they didn't know if they were sellers or buyers at the trading deadline.
Three and 2 on Adrian Gonzalez. Nobody out. Eckstein at first, not going, and this ball is into left center field for a hit. So 2 on and nobody out. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by the Exempla Lutheran Medical Center. Well, Aaron Cook, as George just mentioned, who was placed on the disabled list August 22nd with tightness in his shoulder, a little muscle strain. He's missed 29 ball games. He is ready to go and will start Friday against the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, Aaron's not going to go out and throw 105 pitches Friday, but it'll be great to see him back on the mound. And it will also, George, in all likelihood, give him a couple of starts before the postseason to iron some things out.
Absolutely it will. And there's a huge difference from the first simulated game to the second one.
And a line drive, chance for 2. Nope, Eckstein dove back in. So Barmes takes the line drive by Headley, 1 out. And that'll bring up Oscar Salazar. Let's check another email. This is from Jeremy in Longmont with Aaron Cook coming back. What will Jose Contreras' role be? Well, Jose, you know, may pitch right after Aaron Cook in that ball game, depending on what the circumstances are.
They may try to piggyback. Depends on, too, how everything feels for him, body-wise.
Contreras' arm is fine. His issue, and it's gotten a lot better, was a quadriceps strain. There's Jose. And I think if we pull out, there's Ronnie's Fedich. There's Ron. Ron's on the bench right now as we speak. There's Ron. Outside.
Well, a good man. He's doing some good work here. I know that there's a lot of things that he tries to make the mind grow of a lot of these young players in the minor leagues in preparation to get here to the big leagues. And for whatever all these tests they give, and it's a lot of packages that go out. It does tell you something about the players when you start to do a lot on those.
2-0 at the knees, 2-1. You know, Rod's done, as we described, a marvelous job not only at the big league level but throughout the minor leagues. And I asked him recently, I said, would you sit down with George? And he said, I'm not prepared yet to tackle that.
Well, that's because I call him the brain doctor.
3-1.
Guess what? He's not the first one to pass on that.
He said, I only have so many degrees and so much experience. I'm not ready yet.
Back him up a little bit.
Salazar, 2-run triple his first time up. Here's the 3-1, and that ball's fouled off. Back our direction.
How many rows? As we enter the stretch run, remember that your local Rockies dugout store is a place for all things Rockies. That's right. From tickets to merchandise to exclusive collectibles, we have everything the Rockies fans need to get ready for the next ball game. Stop by one of the 5 locations or just call 303-832-TEAM for details.
Make a pitch here. 2 on, 1 out. Rockies up 5-2. Top of the 3rd. And now the bases are loaded. So De La Rosa will take a little bit of a walk. And Bob Apodaca will come out. That's 4 walks allowed by De La Rosa. And he's thrown, George, 58 pitches. And he's got 1 out in the 3rd.
Well, that's the thing that bothers you. You're worried about a little bit of a misting rain, cold night, and obviously temperature, whatever it was, 40-something. At the start of this ball game, chance to pick up a 16th win. He's getting a little frustrated, can't find the strike zone. Just got to go out and calm things down a little bit, get his mind back where it needs to be. 30 of those strikes, though. I mean, that's the alarming thing. You'd like for that to be about 2-1 and about half that many pitches. Ron Kolpa's going to come out and listen. I always wanted a pitching coach to turn around and go, you know what, this is kind of private. Can you all go back behind home plate? Yeah. What is it's like when the kids run up to the dinner table. What are you guys talking about? It's private. Go play. Just get out. Go play.
This is an A-B conversation. Yeah, see yourself out of it.
See yourself out of it. Go back behind home plate.
De La Rosa has the ability to turn that heater over, George, and get a ground ball.
And needs one here with 1 out.
Yeah. Edgar Gonzalez at the plate.
This ball club has struggled with the bases loaded, just 226 average.
Ground ball down the line. That was the ground ball, but past Stewart into the corner. 2 runs are going to score, maybe 3. Throw to the plate, not in time. 3-run bases loaded double for Edgar Gonzalez, and it's a 5-5 ball game.
Well, I started to mention their ball club has really struggled with a 226 average with the bases loaded. The one guy that hasn't struggled is Adrian's brother Edgar. He's 3 for 6 now with the bases loaded. A line shot right down the 3rd base line. This ball's hit pretty hard. It appeared to be a cutter that came on that inner half of the plate and just shot it by Stewart. Stewart's only about 8 to 10 feet off. He gives a good effort to try to get to that baseball. And of course, you know, with the velocity of De La Rosa on the mound, Stewart was pretty much straight upward, even a little bit into left center. Well, Beimel's getting it loose. Matt Beimel down in the bullpen, getting ready, if he's needed to, come into this ball game.
That means 2-0 right now.
Yeah, that was a little frustrated
Henry
pitch there.
Blanco, yeah.
That was a frustrated fastball. I mean, the whole delivery kind of went out of whack there. It's just like, you know, I'm airing this thing out. If it's over the plate, and you know, that's kind of where he'd made the strides to stay out of it. No, I don't want it. Y'all take it down there. Doug, you looked up like you thought I had a play. You're thinking, huh? Trust me.
Well, I'm sure, you know, I guarantee you Jorge is disappointed he gave up the double, but what is disappointing him more is the fact that 2 of the 3 guys who scored, he put on base.
Yep.
It's not like they didn't earn their way on.
And you know, that's something he hasn't done through the times when he's out here pitching of late. I mean, he's been a guy who's been able to throw strikes, taking away the one game against Arizona on September the 6th. He walked 6. That was a season high for him. He's been around that 2-3 range in all of his starts. In this game already, 3 walks.
And Blanco lines a base hit. And this is going to bring home another run. It's 6-5. San Diego's taking the lead. Henry Blanco with his 15th RBI. Now it's time to go outside the box. And the numbers we're going to show you here for Jorge De La Rosa we're coming into tonight. He is struggling tonight, obviously, but the last 2 Septembers, he's been lights out. 6-1, a 1.92 ERA. The opposition has hit below 200 against him. Tonight, it's not going well. That's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches, 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns.
About a little time.
And that's it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, 63 pitches. Jim Tracy recognizes it's not his night. And I'm not going to leave you out there anymore to go through this. I'm going to bring in the right-hander Belisle and have him try to pound the strike zone and get through it. And for De La Rosa, obviously, not what he intended at all. You know, to give up 6 runs on 6 hits. And again, this is not Jorge De La Rosa and the job that he normally does out on the mound, particularly after what you saw what he did over in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wipe this, just wipe it and head to the dugout.
Yeah. Lead back from the Rockies, 6-5. Just was not Jorge De La Rosa's night. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Matt Belisle takes over with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And Henry Blanco at first base. Tony Gwynn's at the plate. Tony had a base hit his first time up, and the fastball's low.
Well, more of an indication to me that Jim Tracy didn't want to go any farther with De La Rosa, let any more damage happen, because he had left on left with Gwynn when he made the replacement. He'd seen enough. And you know what? You don't want this start to affect what happens to De La Rosa. You mentioned it was June the last time he had a short outing like this against Tampa. Very upset young man right now, I can tell you that. And you know what, he should be. At a 5-2 lead and couldn't hold it. You're going to be upset with yourself and your performance.
2-1. Belisle, since his return to the big leagues, has been very solid for the Rockies. Henry Blanco drawing a throw over there to first base. Henry said, I like it. People respected my wheels. Huh?
He's got some. I'm telling you, he's really fast. Well, not second. Henry, I don't know how many stolen bases he has, but it's not many. He has 4 in 14 attempts. There you go. Thanks, Sue.
4 out of 14. Where was he going, George? Back end of a double steal?
Yeah, maybe. You know, maybe he made a deal.
If I get one a year,
dude, I gotta get a stolen base here. Never gotten one. So you just drop it on the exchange behind the plate, and I'll do you some good someday.
Hit and run that swung on and missed, dropped by the catcher. That's how that happened.
Well, it could have. Maybe. You never know.
Two and 2 on Gwynn. Mejica is on deck. 6-5 San Diego. And that's a line drive that helped caught in the air. So it'll be a double play in the inning. 4 runs for the Padres, all charged naturally to Jorge De La Rosa. And the Rockies blew a 5-2 lead. They'll play catch up again.
And we go back to 1993. Nolan Ryan pitches his final game in the big leagues. It was an interesting end for Nolan Ryan. He said he was going to retire that year, was kind of on his farewell tour, was in Seattle, and only faced 5 batters in that game. The first one, ironically, was Omar Vizquel, who's now on the Rangers, the team that he, of course, is involved in. He walked, got no one out, came off of the field. I was talking to Jeff Houston about this because Huey was on that team. He gave up a grand slam in the first inning, then walked Dave Maggott in 4 pitches, walked off the Kingdome mound, tipped his hat, went into the dugout. Huey said he went up to him and said, "What's up?" He said, "You know what? I'm done. Something's wrong with my arm." And Pudge Rodriguez was catching that day and said he looked up to a couple of batters and said, "I have no idea what's going on with him. I can't catch anything." So on this day in 1993, the final game that Nolan Ryan, the great Nolan Ryan, ever pitched in the bigs, guys.
Is it raining harder, Mark?
It's pouring now.
So how's that umbrella working? You got one?
Do not have an umbrella. Do not have a ShamWow.
Do you know what that means?
Nope.
That means I'm going to teach you something, Mark.
What's that?
When I was in 9th grade,
yes,
George, by the way, I'm the taller of the two. In 9th grade,
just slightly.
Yeah.
In the 9th grade, my high school coach said the 5 P's. You know what those are?
The 5 P's.
Huh? You know what they are?
I do not.
Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Obviously, you did not prepare for rain this evening.
I'm ill prepared.
You know what? I know you're dedicated to your job and everything. Go inside, Mark. It's raining. I'm going to take over for Mike Fox here, who is our producer. Go to the house.
I'm here till the tarp comes out.
Oh, quit it.
Is Raz right near you?
Are you going to ask him if he's going to put the tarp on?
You know, if Raz has his cell phone up to his ear, I never like that. There's Raz.
He's getting a jacket on, though.
There's a strike on Torrealba. Alan Bossard, who runs the visiting clubhouse, does such a great job with it for the Rockies. He popped his head into Bud Black's office this afternoon. He said, Skip, he said, just wanted to give you a weather report. It's going to be really raw tonight. Intermittent rain and cold. Bud said, thanks. You got any more good news for me?
Yeah, any more good news for me? Thanks. We just won 11 innings in Pittsburgh.
1-1 on Torrealba. And this ball to the gap in left center field. Gwynn was shaded the other direction, and Torrealba's digging for two. He's in with a double. And that's a big extra base taken there by the Rockies catcher. Now the tying run in scoring position, George, with 1 out. How about Torrealba the last 6 weeks?
But he does get this ball into left center field with these big gaps, typically a right field type of hitter. He hits this ball off the end of the bat, pulls it into left center. See Gwynn over there in the background. He's playing him in right center about 25 steps. That allowed the ball to drop. And when you get into this gap, if you bust it out of the box the way Torrealba did, pretty good chance you're going to get a double. Good job by Torrealba.
Let's see if Ian Stewart can bring him around. Stewart walked on a 3-2 pitch his first time up. Down low. Next pitch for Mexico will be number 60. They're underway in Arizona. 1-0 San Francisco in the second inning. Matt Cain throwing for the Giants.
Is that Doug Davis going for the Diamondbacks?
It is.
That's what I thought it was.
And a base hit to right. Gonzalez quickly to the baseball. Torrealba will be stopped. And Edgar hit his brother Adrian with a perfect strike. So it's first and third for Clint Barmes. And that's a break of sorts for San Diego. Rockies with Barmes coming up behind Barmes, of course. Belisle is scheduled, but the Rockies are already in the bullpen. So we'll see how Jim Tracy plays it. And some of it obviously depends on what Barmes does right here. Like the G20 summit taking place, George. Rich writes in, does the colder weather, like this evening, favor the hitter or the pitchers, George?
To me, I think it's pitcher. And because you're constantly moving. You know, you don't have a chance to get cold when you're standing at your position in the outfield, getting wet. You're constantly on the mound. So your body parts are working. You know, and a lot of times hitters stand at position, they come in, they sit in the dugout, and I really think it's tough to handle the bat on cold nights.
And if you get sawed off, that's going to stay with you. That could stay with you for a couple innings. Outside on Barmes. Clint hit a fly ball to deep right his first time up. That would work well here. That's Cesar Ramos. One of 3 lefties the Padres have down in the bullpen. 2 of the 3, though, don't have much big league experience. Ramos doesn't have a lot of experience. They're late inning lefties. Thatcher, ground ball through the hole. Did that get Stewart? No, it didn't. And Stewart's going to go first to third. And Barmes thought about moving up. He got himself in a pickle, and he got in. And the Rockies now have second and third in a tie baseball game as Clint Barmes punched a single to right to drive in his 74th run. Torrealba getting high fives in the dugout. And let's see if Bud Black goes to his bullpen.
All right, warming up, the left-hander's been going down there in his bullpen, and he's asking Darren Balls, is he ready to go? You got a pitcher at the plate now. Maybe that's the only thing preventative. Right-handed guy that doesn't swing the bat much. This ball squeaks through the right side. You see the runs come across. You see the runners advance, particularly Barmas moving up on a risky throw as he got caught halfway there. Then the exchange not on target.
So Jim Tracy wants to get some length out of Belisle, so he'll have him hit here 6-6. And he swings and misses with the infield in, runners at second and third. I mean, with the expanded rosters, you could very easily say, all right, you know what, we're just going to mix and match the rest of the way and pinch hit here in the third inning. And take a shot, an extra shot, if you will, at driving 2 runners in.
Makes sense.
Strike 3. So Belisle is gone on 3 pitches, and Seth Smith coming up. Now will Bud Black go get the left-hander? Yep, he will. So that'll be all for Mojica. It's a short night for both starters. De La Rosa gone in the third inning. Now Mojica is gone in the third inning. De La Rosa goes 2 1/3. Mojica goes 2 2/3. 6-6 ball game. Smith against the left-hander Ramos when we come back. Plan for him. You're already spending the same amount of money. Might as well transfer that to a 529 plan. You're going to feel like a genius 14, 15 years from now when the little one's ready to go off to college. Get started saving for college today. Do like my wife and I have done for our 3 boys. Visit collegeinvest.org. That's collegeinvest.org. You'll be very glad you did. Well, Seth Smith will come up. There are 2 runners in scoring position. Barmas is at second. Stewart is at third. Torrealba already in the dugout. Smith has hit lefties. Here's Ramos's first delivery. And it's a strike at 90 miles an hour.
Well, people need to understand one thing, too, that this guy, Ramos, was Tulowitzki's roommate for 3 years in college.
Long Beach State.
Yeah, Long Beach State.
They're everywhere. Giambi's a former dirtbag. That's foul back, 0-2.
Good hard slider there, down and away from this young left-hander, 81 miles an hour. Suffered some arm injuries, has battled back from it. 3rd round draft pick by the Padres. It may have been a sandwich pick. I'll look that up, but I think it's early rounds.
0-2 on Smith. And this gets away for a moment. Good block by Blanco, and Stewart could not advance. Smith's hitting a very respectable 283 against lefties, and he was well over 300 till recently. Just missed 2-2. Two ribbies out there for Smith. 3-2. Dexter Fowler on deck. As Seth can reach. Outfield is deep, and Tony Gwynn is swung around toward left center field. And Ramos wins the battle. So Bud Black calls on Ramos. He gets Smith. The Rockies tie up the game on the Barmis base hit. 6-6. We're going to the fourth. Players. That's the hardest element of the cycle to get. It's a good idea to run your dishwasher when it's full. This maximizes energy use. Learn more energy tips at responsiblebynature.com. You don't get yelled at either. Here's a strike from Matt Belisle. This is Ramos getting an opportunity to swing the bat, George. And since he just came to the big leagues, I got to see if this is his first big league at bat.
By the way, it is. By the way, Ramos was a sandwich pick, 35th pick overall in 2005.
Got a lot of talent in Long Beach State. Here's the 1-1 on Ramos. It's 1-2.
32 and 31 in his minor league career entering this year. One winning season, a big one in San Antonio in 07. He won 13 games, went 13 and 9. Made 27 starts there.
And a ground ball to short. What was that? That was like an ephus pitch from Tulowitzki. Man, been a wet baseball. Let's get an update on that ball game at Chase Field. Matt Cain with the score, already 1-0. Cain can swing the bat a little bit, and he hits a ball to deep center field over the head of Chris Young. It turns into a triple, a two-run triple, and the Giants lead it 3-0 in the desert. They won 5-4 yesterday. They're 4 games behind the Rockies. The Rockies' magic number is 9. Here's a drag bunt. Tough play, and they get the out. Well done by Belisle. Good hustle by Matt.
Well, anytime you have speed at the plate, and obviously Cabrera has that, you got to be aware of everything that you're going to have to do on the mound after you throw the pitch. You may have to cover first, you may have to lay a bunt down, you may slap some things around. This time he just pulled it up the first base line. Great bunt, covered ground, big long steps, and then a flip over to pick by Helton. Did you kick the heater over? You dropped the blanket on top of the heater. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, my legs are cold for a second. I gotta get that blanket.
Did you really drop the blanket on top of the heater?
No.
You did, didn't you?
It was not intended.
You're in charge. He's closest to you.
David Eckstein at the plate. Having a flashback, George, like April 8th. Did we not leave Coors Field and it was like 95 degrees?
It's a little chilly, but it ain't that bad out here. It's really not. Sam, how you doing tonight? You cold? I don't think so.
Eckstein bounces it to help. Good inning for Belisle. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. We're tied at 6 as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning at Coors Field. Rockies first of 9. Is 0 for 2, though he reached on an error by Everett Cabrera in the first inning, would come around to score. Dexter from the right side of the plate is hitting well above 300. First two at bats came against Edward Mujica on the left side. Here's the 1-0. Thought about a bunt. That gets everybody's attention. 2-0. Dexter with a base hit to right. The Rockies have the go-ahead run on. They have scored in every inning so far. Here's tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class Attention Assist of the game. Good bunt by Cabrera, and Belisle flying off the mound. Makes a right-hand turn, flips it underhand to Todd Helton. It's a terrific play. This assist brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz You Must Experience, the amazing new E-Class. And here's Helton at the plate, 2 for 2, including an RBI single in the second.
Yeah, Dexter was not familiar at all.
Yeah, the move to the plate had Dexter going back to the bag.
Well, anytime you got a lefty on the mound, you haven't seen him, you don't know what type of move he is. I mean, Tulowitzki can tell you everything he wants to. There's probably been a lot of changes made since this young man was at Long Beach State.
Ball, 1 strike. Todd in his career has hit .345 in the month of September. Scuffling a little bit so far in this September, hitting .226. Home run, he has 8 RBIs so far in September '09. Last extra base hit came on September 2nd, a double against the Mets. That tied him with Babe Ruth on the all-time doubles list.
Say that again.
Isn't that something? Todd helped Babe Ruth, 45th all-time with 506 career doubles.
Folks, I hope you in Colorado have enjoyed watching this guy. Think about that. Tied Babe Ruth? I mean, it's not like, okay, it tied Ken Griffey Sr. No, he tied Babe Ruth.
Tag play at second. You're not going to get Fowler. Oopsie. Dexter checking on David Eckstein. And Eckstein checking on Fowler. Excuse me, it's Cabrera, not Eckstein. You know, Dexter may have gotten spiked, George.
Well, I think neck may have got wrenched a little bit because everything came out over the top of him, too. I mean, you know, all that weight was there. Dexter popped up after the play. He got whacked pretty good. Whatever it was, got him right in the ear. Cabrera's got to come over and cover when the first baseman throwing down. It's really that kind of, right there it is. Yep, spike got him. Sure did, coming across the top of his head. It sure did get him. Watch right here as he comes over. See, the throw from Gonzalez did all that. Sure did. Because it crossfired over the top of Dexter.
There are places you don't think you're going to get spiked. One of them is on the ear. Ankle, yes. Foot, maybe the calf. You're not expecting to get spiked in the ear.
Let me ask you a question.
Certainly.
Mr. Rules verification guy.
I don't claim to
Why
do
do you
that.
get blood on the jersey? You don't come out basketball, you got to come out of the game.
You got to have a new jersey.
Why? Don't baseball or football.
Football, I think you do now.
No.
I'm trying to
Are
remember.
you kidding me? Look at some of those linemen sitting over there. They got their white jerseys were like red.
Well, basketball I'm positive of. Football I'm not. Baseball, you know, it doesn't happen that much in baseball.
Just to ask you, I didn't say why it happened. I asked you why you have changed jerseys in basketball, but not these two sports.
Call Mr. Seelig.
Nope,
no
you got
idea.
all them answers. Come on.
Strike one on Tulowitzki.
That was an easy email to do.
It's an easy one to ask, or difficult to answer. Go ahead run at second and Fowler.
By the way, I just emailed Booth. I don't even have a computer. Don't own one. And you don't have the answer. Doug, look it up.
Doug's got more important things to do. Tulowitzki hitting.
So does Tulo against his former roommate of 3 years at Long Beach State.
Yeah.
If anybody knows him, this guy should.
Yeah, he's hitting .335 in the second half this year. .327 last year in the second half. Down the line, foul. I asked Jason Giambi about Tulowitzki. I said, anything about him surprise you now that you're seeing him play every day? And he said, well, I always kept tabs on him because even though I didn't really know him, he went to Long Beach State, I went to Long Beach State. And he said the biggest thing that surprised me, he said, I knew he was a great young player. He said, is how agile he is, how much range he has at shortstop for a guy that's so big and strong. Here's the 1-2, and that's driven foul. And it's true, George. I mean, just walking around the clubhouse, I thought about it today. Tulowitzki with Chatney walks by, big legs, big upper body. I mean, you think corner outfielder or third baseman, first baseman. He plays shortstop,
well,
and his range factor is phenomenal.
A lot of people thought when he came to the big leagues, they heard all these scouts, all the geniuses saying, not going to make it. Got to be a third baseman. No way is he going to make it as a shortstop. He's proven a lot of people wrong in the game of baseball, that's for sure.
And this is punched to right. This will be a fair ball. Here comes Fowler with the go-ahead run. Tulowitzki comes through against his roommate in college. 7-6 Rockies.
82nd RBI for Mr. Tulowitzki on the season. You know, one of two guys is going to win that battle. It's either, you know, the pitcher and the guy that knows you and thinks he can pitch to you and do all these things. You notice they kept everything away from him. Then he got a high fastball up. Everything prior to that was down. Tulowitzki got a ball about chest high. Just tried to get on top of it enough to lift it up into the air, and he dumped it to right field. Gonzalez on it in a hurry. You're not going to catch up to the speed of Dexter Fowler, that's for sure.
Dexter could jog faster than everybody else, or a good percentage of people go at full speed in the big leagues. Long strides. Well, the Rockies have hit that magic number. They have 7. That means tomorrow, make sure you head to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6. 4 tacos for $1. That's tomorrow at Taco Bell in the state. 0-1 on Brad Hopp, 3-run home run back in the first inning. For Brad, his 20th home run of the year. RBI total at 79. I suppose it's fitting that it would come against the Padres, the team he's hit over 500 against this year. Still marvel at that ball he hit out, George, to steal your favorite line. The flags were blowing straight down.
That's not my favorite.
The wind was blowing. Yeah, the wind was blowing straight down.
The wind's blowing straight down.
Yeah.
Look. Well, let's take one look at this home run from Brad Hopp on the outer half of the plate. Long, a lot of extension onto the baseball. It's a fastball. It was thrown fairly hard, but it just continued to carry on a high fly ball. And Hopp obviously glad to get that monkey off the back, get the RBIs in, put his team on top at that time.
Not this time as Ramos strikes him out. Second out in the 4th inning. Tulowitzki at first. Now it'll bring up Torrey Alba. Check in again with Mark Stout. Get our Affleck trivia question for the evening. Mark?
Drew, George, you got it. Let's talk about another home run hitter. Hopp hit the home run tonight. Vinny Castilla, 320 home runs in his Rockies career. In 2006, when he ended his career, he started the season with San Diego, ended it here in Colorado. Who did he hit his final home run off? That's home run number 320. Give that some thought. We'll get the answer coming up, guys.
Must be a famous pitch.
Greg Maddux. Just guessing. That's when Maddux was doing that whole flip around thing.
You got that, George. That's a good guess, because you had to figure it was in the NL West. Randy Johnson. You go with Maddux, I'll go with Johnson.
I thought he said he hit it off of the Padres.
Did he say, was that part of the question? Did I miss that? Was it off the Padres? I didn't think.
Oh, off of a current Rocky.
Oh, a current Rocky. Well, then we're both not paying attention.
Oh.
I'm going with Hergis. Fouled off, 1-1. Who do you want?
I think who stuck around long enough back then. What year was it?
A few years ago, wasn't that long ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago. Think about that one for a while.
There goes Tulowitzki, and Blanco's throw is not in time. So Tulowitzki swipes second base, and for Troy, it's number 18, closing in on a 2020 season.
Yep, he's only been caught 11 times. When with Blanco, a very good catch and throw guy and a left-hander on the mound, there came the knowledge of a former teammate and roommate of knowing his move to first base. He just took advantage of it.
And now a runner in scoring position for Torrealba. 17 for his last 23 in these situations. Not this time, though. Adrian Gonzalez makes the catch right on the line. Rockies get a run. They go ahead 7-6 on the Tulowitzki single to bring around Fowler.
The Aflac trivia question answer. The question was, Vinny Castilla ended his career in 2006. He started that season with San Diego. They actually traded for him in the offseason. They sent Brian Lawrence to the Nationals, got him. He started at third base opening day for the Padres, ended his year with the Rockies, hit his final home run in the majors, his 320th, off a current Rocky in the pen. Drew, you guessed Matt Hergis. The answer is Joe Beimel. And I talked to Joe about it. If he remembered it all, he said no. Vinny, of course, did. Said it was a 3-2 fastball. Interesting about Beimel, 3 batters have hit more than 1 home run off of him in his career. Vinny is one of them. So is Jim Edmonds. And the other is Richie Sexson. I told that to Beimel. He said, I had no idea. He said, but I can tell you something else about the Padres and home runs with me. Tony Gwynn hit his last home run ever off of Joe Beimel. So he and Castilla did. Kind of a cool story from Joe Beimel with the Aflac trivia, guys.
Now there's a base hit to center field through the shift by Adrian Gonzalez. I suppose if you're going to give up home runs, and Beimel does not give up home runs very frequently, might as well give them up to guys who played at the level that Vinny did, Tony Gwynn.
You know what, Drew? He said the exact same thing. He said, I don't give up a lot of homers, and even this year he feels it's a little bit of a fluke year with giving up the long ball. But yeah, Vinny number 320 and Tony Gwynn's final.
You know, Beimel this year has given up 5 in 52 innings. Chase Headley is 1 for 2, a single and a line out, and he takes a strike. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Adrian's 2 for 2 now on a walk. Headley's had a very good second half. One and one. Chase hitting .383 over his last dozen ball games. Here's the second half we were talking about. .311 average. That's on the corner. 1 and 2.
How many home runs do you think Beimel's given up in his career? I'll help you out.
31.
43.
43.
But since '06, and that's when it all kind of tied together there, he's given up a total of 13.
Ground ball to help. There's one on the first double play. Nice job by Bilal getting over there. George had plenty of time to square up his body to Tulowitzki.
That's what you're taught to do. I mean, you got to get off the mound and go anytime the ball's hit to the right side. If you hesitate, you're not going to make this play. It's very simple. You're not going to. And then what he did here, he didn't stride till the ball was thrown. Then when he stride, he went right to the baseball. A lot of times guys stride early. The ball's left to right of you, and then you don't make a play on it.
2 outs. Belial will catch his breath for a moment. Then he'll focus on Oscar Salazar. There's the stretch you were talking about.
Ooh.
Close. Salazar triple and a walk. 2-run triple in the first. Line drive to center field that Dexter Fowler's just slightly misjudged, it looked like. He scored 2 runs against De La Rosa. The way the ball game started for Jorge, George, you thought he was going to have another strong evening. Got a quick strikeout, got a weak ground ball from David Eckstein, and then he walked Gonzalez on 4 pitches. Headley had a weak ground ball single. He just found a hole up the middle. And then the triple. Second inning was fairly uneventful.
Well, even the ball on the triple. I mean, we've seen Dexter make a play on that ball an awful lot. It had backspin. Obviously didn't get the break on it needed to make the play.
2-1 on Salazar. And then the third inning, he ended up walking 2, gave up a hit. The bases were loaded, and Edgar Gonzalez hit a 3-run double down the left field line. And Blanco a base hit, and that was all for De La Rosa. 2 1/3, which matched his shortest outing of the year. Back in June, he went 2 1/3 and gave up 7 runs against Tampa. Tonight, he gives up 6 runs.
Florida shut out Philadelphia 3-0 in that second ball game.
So they get a split.
Dodgers 14-2 final. We had a side swing here. Yes, you did. Back in the box.
Belial got the final out of the 3rd. Clean 4th, 2 outs in the 5th, and this is in the air to right field. Brad Hopp near the line is going to make the catch. And another good inning from Matt Belial. Rockies lead it 7-6. Stuart, Barbas, and Belial next half. Raffle grand prize drawing. Entry deadline's Friday. Go to RockyMountainHomeRaffle.com and sign up for your chance to win $1 million ski home at Denver Loft or $1 million in cash. Ian Stewart leading things off, takes ball 1 from Ramos. He's got a run off Ramos last inning, and this ball is bounced foul. 1-1. Stewart is 1 for 1, a single and a walk in the ball game. Stewart hitting at the 7-hole. Well, the Rockies have produced 23 home runs this year, which is 3rd in baseball. You usually think of an American League club, George, having that many home runs and a powerful one at that far down in the lineup.
Look at everything down at the bottom of the lineup. Look at what Torrey Albert's done extra innings, particularly the last couple of weeks, 7th inning beyond. You look at Hop, you look at Stewart, you look at Barmas, but what Barmas and Stewart combined of what they've done damage-wise, I mean, it's ridiculous. To look at a 7 and 8 hole, match that up with anybody in baseball. 46 home runs and 142 RBIs. You're not going to find it.
They have 18 home runs out of the 8-hole, which is 5th in baseball. In the 6-hole, they have 28 home runs. That's tied for 2nd in baseball. Barmas, 22 home runs. Swung on and miss. Jeremy writes in, what's the biggest name that will not make the 25-man playoff roster?
You know, I'm not even going to speculate, to be honest with you. I mean, if somebody, you know, if you want to, go ahead, but I'm not going to speculate who's going to be on the roster and who's not.
It won't. I mean, we're showing a picture of that guy. He's going to be on the 25-man playoff roster. You got to believe. Well, he's produced in September, and the threat of his bat late in the ball game coming off the bench. This ball is pulled left, the base hit for Barmas. But I think when it comes down to that, and I'm not going to throw out names either. I mean, we don't know. But, George, when it comes down to that, sometimes it's matchups against a particular club.
When it comes down to who your matchups. I mean, that's the stuff that the club, this is the stuff that the coaching staff gets together with Dan O'Dowd, Bill Guyvette. They're all going to be a part of that decision making. What maybe one player has done against, let's say you're playing the Cardinals. What's he done against Carpenter, Wainwright, and Pinero that maybe he didn't do against Lee and those other guys. So, I mean, you know, it depends on where you go and who they are and who hits well and who doesn't. A lot of things that factor into it.
This is the second at bat for Belisle. He struck out in the 3rd with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Being asked to move Barmas to scoring position. Belisle a chance to win this baseball game. He's pitched very effectively in relief of De La Rosa. The Rockies up 7-6.
Well, anytime you get a guy like Belisle to come into the ball game, obviously he slammed the door shut. And getting the last out in the 3rd inning. Then he went out, had a 1-2-3 inning. And, you know, you're looking to saying, all right, well, let's go ahead and pinch hit for the guy. Well, here's the problem you have with pinch hitting. He slammed the door. He's turned the faucet off. And the thing is, that's the part that has made him in a position to where he can go out and all of a sudden you let him go 2 or 3 innings. You let him do his job. That's why maybe he didn't pinch hit for him with 2nd and 3rd. He's trying to turn the faucet off at a ball game. And I think with Belisle, the job he's done, about 2 1/3 innings, nothing. It's going to be fun to watch. By the way, they're talking about 25-man roster. They can have an injury. They can replace a guy with an injury that was not on the roster prior to September 1st.
And Belisle couldn't get that one down, so he's a strikeout victim. Barmas remains at first base with 2 outs. Smith will come up and we'll answer an email question that we get it every Tuesday. I know everybody can't always hear our answers, but a lot of people wondering, hey, is Jason Giambi available can he be placed on the postseason roster if the Rockies make the postseason? The answer is yes, he can. He is eligible for the postseason. Smith, a double and a strikeout. Came in for Carlos Gonzalez. Gonzalez had a triple and scored a run in the 1st on a balk after tripling. And then had to leave the ball game with tightness and a hamstring. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. You understand why this kid was drafted high, George. Lefty with a pretty good arm.
Yeah, very good arm. Had a little shoulder tenderness, or not mistake, earlier in the year. Coming out of spring training, that's one of the reasons he didn't pitch much till the end, but pitched very well for their AAA ball club.
Now Ramos ahead 0-2 on Smith.
Yeah, pretty good command of the fastball, both sides of the plate. He's shown that. He's had a tendency to get the ball up. Tulowitzki hit that ball to right field, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He's hit 93 for a high so far in the game.
There goes Barmes. He's picked off, and a lot of managers will do that. 0-2 on your leadoff hitter in this particular case. See if Barmes can get scoring position. Didn't work out. Smith has a fresh count next inning. On the left side. And Perdomo is throwing right now in San Diego's bullpen. Leading things off is Edgar Gonzalez. A double and 3 RBIs for Edgar in his last at bat. That was the beginning of the end for Jorge De La Rosa tonight. Tough outing for Jorge. 6 runs on 6 hits, 2 2/3. He walked 4. That's what really hurt him. That's a strike. And Belisle came on, got the final out of the third. A 1-2-3 fourth. Gave up a hit, but then it got a double play behind it in the fifth. So he basically worked a 1-2-3 fifth as well.
Well, all of that covered with just 25 pitches, too. Think about that. 2 1/3 innings, plus 25 pitches. Jim Tracy just trying to work through this ball game. You have to the De La Rosa a fortunate outing. You just kind of piece your way through the game.
Two and two. Breaking ball's fouled off. Windshield damage. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safe Light Auto Glass. 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com. It's punch foul.
Put it right where he wanted to. Toriyama got down on one knee, just wanted to make that move.
This ball's hit well right center field, and it's going to roll close to the wall. Gonzalez will stop at second base. Edgar's second double of the ball game. The tying run at second base, leading off the sixth. It's 5-4 now, Arizona, and Gerardo Parra off of Matt Cain hits one that appears to be a home run. And he circles the bases, and you know, this is really odd because I'm looking at this online, George, on a couple of sites. They have him as having a 2-run home run, and now we're getting conflicting reports that they've taken the home run away and given him the double. The score reads 7-4 Arizona, and we haven't seen a change on that. I guess the good news is Arizona has come back early. It's third inning, and they've battered Matt Cain. And after falling behind 3-0, the Diamondbacks have the lead on the Giants. There's a strike. It's 0-2 on Henry Blanco.
Here's Beimel and Rincon have started to warm up for the Rockies. Righty-left combination with the expansion of what they have. Excuse me, it's Flores. Randy Flores is warming up along Rincon.
Got him on a breaking ball. That's a big strikeout.
Huge strikeout.
So Blanco out number one. Gonzalez at second, and Tony Gwynn coming up.
Trying to throw that hard slider, and he does it. Started way up on top of the hand, right on the Hyundai cam. You see a good hard rotation. Everything appeared to be a four-seam fastball, and then it did the Houdini disappearing act on Henry Blanco. Jim Tracy's going to get the matchup he wants, left on left, more than likely, if everybody's ready to go. Matt Bilal did a heck of a job for Jim Tracy tonight. 2 2/3 innings, just a hit, giving up in right center. A couple of hits for him in the ballgame.
Yeah, he did a terrific job.
be in the organization prior to August 31st. And if you are, he can replace someone on a 25-man roster for the playoffs on the disabled list rule for an injured player. But he must be in the organization prior to August 31st. So if he was not gone to Colorado Springs for that week, then he would not be eligible at this point.
And that's why, again, the question about Giambi. Giambi was with the organization in August, so he's eligible for the postseason. Oh, 0-1 on Tony Gwynn. Edgar Gonzalez led off with a double. Did he go? Nope. 2-1. Gwynn a single and a line drive to Todd Helton that turned into a double play. Rockies up 7-6. 3-1. Luis Alfonso on deck. Ground ball to Helton. Todd's going to run to the bag himself. Going to third base is Gonzalez. So we'll see if Jim Tracy comes out. Brings on Rincon to face Alfonso. Alfonso's staring in the dugout, seeing if Tracy's going to come out. Here he comes. No, here comes Dak.
Bob Dak.
So it'll be the pitching coach, not the manager.
Well, to go over how they're going to pitch the guy. Basically is what they're going to be. Alfonso's a very good fastball hitter. If you bring in the right-hander to face, you have Venable, Macias, Rodriguez, Durango. You've got a number of guys you could go to left-hand side to do something. So I think they're just going to take the shot with this guy and with Alfonso to see what happens.
Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch for the day. Mejica hit 93. De La Rosa hit 97. That's brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. So Eliezer Alfonso is a pinch hitter with the tying run at third base. Former backup catcher with the San Francisco Giants. Well, they put a run back on the board, George. It's now 7 for Arizona. Make up your mind.
See? No. See, what did I say? I said I'm not going to believe it. I said you're going to have another run on the board. That's right.
There's a strike. Flores against righties. They've hit 357 against him, 5 for 14. And this ball in the air to Hop. And that's the inning. Great job of pitching. First the strikeout by Belisle after the leadoff double by Gonzalez, and then the next two handled by Flores. 7-6 Rockies. Ear region. Dexter stayed in the ball game. He's okay. The Frost Brewed Coors Light. Freeze Camp. Coors Light introduced the new 12-ounce cold activated can. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Well, Houston Street is up. He was ready to go yesterday, or excuse me, 2 days ago, Sunday in Arizona. Rockies didn't find a place for him to go. Again, they're not going to just throw him right back in the ninth inning just yet. Luis Perdomo is in. And the Rockies will have Seth Smith to lead it off. And he takes a strike. Some of the numbers on Perdomo. He's got a good arm.
He's got a really good arm. Hard sinker, good slider. Worked the ball away from the left-handers. He'll try to sink it between 87 and 90. He can go to the four-seam on the inside part of the plate. Again, this is another one of those guys you wouldn't have seen him in the big leagues this year if you wouldn't have seen some injuries, trades, different things that happen with their ball club.
Adrian Gonzalez will flip to Perdomo, 1 out. Shane writes in, who's the best possible matchup for the Rockies if they were to make the playoffs? The Phillies, the Cards, or the Dodgers? They would not play the Dodgers in the first round, Shane. As a wild card, you do not play inside your division, so it would be the Phillies or the Cardinals. And it's a good question. It's one off air we've talked a little bit about. The Rockies have a great number of left-handed hitters, and the Phillies, George, you can make an argument that their 3 top starting pitchers are all left-handed. The Rockies are a 500 club this year against left-handed starters. They're 20 over against right-handed starters. Now, Carpenter and Wainwright, no day at the beach.
No, neither one of those guys, obviously, of what they've accomplished. I mean, both are in the running for the Cy Young Award, probably Cy Young 1 and 2 right now in the National League. But another guy that might figure into that, Josh Johnson, just because he's 15 and 4 on their ball club. Lincecum's going to be thought of, but he's been getting knocked around here in the last 7-8 starts. Yeah, none of that. You know what? Here, I've always had that theory. As a player, if you're fortunate enough to get to playoffs, you know what? Guess what? You got to beat them all anyway to go play somebody in the American League. So does it really matter who you play first?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. You have to beat them all.
You got to beat them all. Whether you beat St. Louis first or Philly first, you're still going to have to go beat St. Louis or LA in the second round. You got to beat somebody to get to the World Series. When you get to the playoffs, you're facing 1, 2, and 3. You are not going to see number 5 unless it's a long shot deal where you've busted up a starter and he's had to come in and work.
Well, typically number 5 goes to the bullpen and helps out there.
Sometimes. Jason Marquis, unfortunately, 5 of the 9 times when he was the 5th starter, wasn't on a playoff roster.
But you have the 3 left-handers in Philadelphia. They have late inning relief problems. Brad Lidge, who was terrific last year, has really struggled this year. Remains 2 and 2 on Fowler. And Ryan Franklin has not been automatic of late, the 9th inning man for St. Louis. And another base hit for Dexter Fowler. His second of the night. He scored a couple of runs. They're going to throw behind him. Edgar throwing to his brother. And then Adrian tried to deep.
Didn't he try that
Fowler.
the other day? Who was it? He tried to do that on a pickoff move. Didn't he do that? Started to spin off. Was that him?
I'm trying to remember who
Yep.
that
Here's
was.
the line drive on a ball just up in the strike zone. Didn't do much with it. Just left that fastball up. Dexter made him pay for it out over the plate where he could extend a little bit, turn on it. Well, the 2 brothers, one at right, one at first. Probably used that pickoff move or that throw behind the runner move when they were in high school together. Out in the Sandlots playing.
Yeah. Helton's got a couple of hits and an RBI this evening. Fowler at first, doesn't go, and the pitch misses, ball 1. Rockies leading 7-6. 22 runs for Colorado their last 3 ball games. It is now 8-4. Arizona leading San Francisco. They're still in the 3rd inning.
Wow.
Short night for Matt Cain.
Who's in now? Because they're still showing his number in the game now. 18's Matt Cain.
It's ripped down the line. No, they're. You know what? Joaquin was in, George. He's out. Here's a wild pitch by Joaquin. They have Bumgardner in the game now.
Yeah, they're trying to pull it stop. They can't too. Yeah, they can't afford to lose any more ground. They went in yesterday and picking up a half a game.
And another run just came in. It's 9-4. 9-4 in the third inning. Who would have thought that with Matt Cain starting? 2-1. Let's see if Dex has enough of a read on Perdomo's move. You have a guy who's very quick behind the plate. Strong pop times throughout Henry Blanco's career.
Well, remember Sunday, September the 27th is Frontier Airlines Fan Appreciation Day. It's pretty cool because the first 15,000 through the gates will receive a special gift worth between $10 and $500. Also through the game, they're going to randomly pick some people that are going to get some envelopes, and there are going to be prizes worth $100 to $1,000 that you can use to a future flight. So all that's pretty neat. It's called Frontier Fan Appreciation Day, September 27th. That's Sunday. Get your tickets at any of one of the Rockies ticket outlets.
The line on Matt Cain, 2 1/3, 7 runs on 8 hits, all of them earned. Gets away far enough that Dexter's going to be able to move up.
Tell you what, Adrian Gonzalez made a great play on that ball.
He really did.
Because you know, you thought there was probably not even going to be a throw on it. Yeah, I know as you started to say that, you know, Dexter's going to move up. I didn't anticipate Gonzalez being able to get to that ball and put that kind of a throw on it and put it on the money. Pretty athletic play for a big guy at first base. He's going to go and slide to get this ball. Just as he went down to tag, the ball hit off of the glove. He just pops right up. Good thing Dexter busted it, or they'd have got him. So he's got to catch that ball. That's got to be an error on Gonzalez.
So another RBI out there for Helton in a tight ball game. It is an error on Gonzalez. And Todd bounces one to Adrian. Dexter to third, 2 gone, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki, who had an RBI in the 4th. Let's check our Geico quote of the day. Jerry Coleman, the big ballpark, can do it all. The Colonel. He's referring to the new ballpark at Petco. Well, he's always a joy to visit with. World War II hero, Korean War hero, former player, great broadcaster. Tulowitzki takes that pitch in the dirt, ball 1.
Well, when his trademark's out in San Diego, let's give that fan a star. You swing the star outside, big star, and swing it outside the side of his broadcast booth. He's got his windows open, sweater on, got the hat working. The guys next door, who I don't want to mention, the guys next door, they have the window closed and the heater on. You know, the one next door to Jerry, I didn't really want to say anything. See, like these 2 guys right here, that guy right there, and then this guy right here, they have their closed. See how Jerry has his open?
Well, when the temperature gets below 66 degrees, they close the window. We've documented that for years. 2-0 on Tulowitzki. 3-0. With Hop on deck. Troy leading the club in RBIs with 82. Rockies hitting bottom of the 6th inning. It'd be a nice run to have at third base in Dexter Fowler. And now 2 on for Hop, who hit a 3-run home run back in the 1st inning. What was our game time temperature? 48 degrees first pitch?
I thought it was like 85. Feels good.
The game time temperature first pitch in Phoenix tonight was 103. Here's the 1-0 to Hop. That's to the backstop. Fowler is safe at the plate. 8-6 Colorado. Wild pitch on Perdomo.
And a total misfire from where Henry Blanco thought the ball was going to be. I mean, a total misfire. He's wanting that ball inside. I mean, if he just misses, he's sitting inside. The ball still misses almost halfway into the left-handed batter's box. Dexter, that walking lead at third base, sees the ball shoot by. It gives him an easy opportunity to get to the plate and score.
And now they'll go ahead and put Hop on 2-0 with first base open, and they'll go right on right with Torrealba, but be careful. Bud Black's team has played really well. We talked about that. The last 50 games, 51 games coming in, they're 31-20. Tonight, George, they have not pitched very well.
They've pitched very well. They've made some defensive, Cabrera in the first throws it up into the seats, keeps an inning alive.
They balked in a run and now a wild pitch.
They haven't played very well tonight. Nope. And they would probably admit that. Buddy Black would probably admit that.
If your windshield's damaged, call Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000. Visit safelight.com.
But I don't know if you studied the numbers before the series started, but Torrealba 17 for 23 in his last opportunities with the runners in scoring position. That's 739 for those of you at home.
0 for 1 tonight. An opportunity in the 4th inning and popped out. He did have a double back in the 3rd, scored a run. Torrealba with runners at 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. A 5-game hitting streak going. Padres do not have Gregerson or their closer Bell available tonight. Both of those guys have pitched in 3 straight ball games in the Pittsburgh series. Bell's been struggling. He blew another save yesterday.
Still leads the National League with 39 for a team that hadn't won many ball games. Tells you it's been pretty good, but the Rockies have gotten after him a couple of times. The last 2 games, San Diego.
His first 2 blown saves of the year at Petco.
We've gotten that 19 of 19 prior to those 2.
Yeah. One and one on Torrealba. 2-1. How big was that hit against Dan Harron Sunday, George, to tie up the baseball game?
Huge hit. It's just, just right when he thought that he had you locked down. And then to do that against him. And I mean, he even mentioned it. He said, you know what, it's been a while since we'd seen the Rockies in April. They definitely got a swagger working.
And a ground ball to 3rd. And Headley throws to Eckstein, and that's all for the Rockies. They do get another run. Dexter Fowler, a 1-out single, worked his way around the bases, and the Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Take a look at the 5-star safety-rated all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe. You get more for less at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. Well, look who's back on the bump, and it's great to see. Houston Street is going to throw the 7th inning with the Rockies ahead 8-6. This call to the pen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST. George, when you've been out for a while, and in the case of Houston Street, he's been out 22 days. What will be hardest to get back, velocity or control?
Well, the velocity will stay there because he'll throw arm strength. The control might disappear because of being so amped up. Because you haven't been out there in 23 days. You're going to be able to try to throw some pitches. Now, he's a veteran guy, been around his 5th year in the big leagues, that should have a pretty good idea of trying to command that. He understands the fact of where he's pitching in the ball game. You know, that he's going to work this game here. You know, they're going to look at fastball command. It's 92 miles an hour fastball. Start him out with. And how he feels. I mean, 5 previous appearances, he'd been pretty special, folks. 4 2/3, 6 strikeouts, no hits.
Everett Cabrera at the plate, 0 for 3. It's the top of the order for San Diego. Houston Street, as good as any closer in the game this year. When he went down, he gets a comeback that'll begin. That's a nice start, 1 out. There's a great story today, George. You know, folks who've been around the state of Colorado a long time know the family name Steinmark. Great athletes. Freddie Steinmark, back in the late 60s, marvelous athlete, student, great football, baseball player, went to the University of Texas. Unfortunately, he lost his life, but he played on the national championship baseball and football teams in Texas. One of his teammates was Houston's dad, James, and several members of the Steinmark family here tonight. And got an opportunity to meet Houston.
Well, here's the thing about it. Houston Street could win a Cy Young Award this year. He still would be as popular as his dad in Austin, Texas.
Nope. And he'd be the first to tell you that.
Yeah, you know, Dad's #1 down there.
0-2 on David Eckstein. Of course, one of the most coveted high school awards you can win for a football player is the Freddie Steinmark Award in our state. And a foul tip in and out of the glove of Yorvie Torrealba, so it remains 0-2. Brother Sammy, who was 7 years younger, saw Sammy tonight, coached for 21 years under Fisher DeBerry at the Air Force Academy. It's good to see Sammy at the ballpark.
You know where Fisher's living now, don't you?
He's in Oklahoma.
Down by Grand Lake. A big town called Grove, Oklahoma. He's got him a lake cabin down there.
But you know, I was talking to Sammy Steinmark about that, George, and I didn't realize that because the last time I had an opportunity to visit with Fisher, he was headed back to South Carolina.
Yep, he's living in Oklahoma on Grand Lake. Got him a nice little fishing spot down there.
Good pitch, George. That's a slider that he's had for 5 months. That didn't go anywhere.
Nope, 83 miles an hour. Again, repeat the arm angle, repeat the delivery, and then allow the ball to make the move for you. And he does it just absolutely perfect.
33 out of 34 in safe situations, the best in the National League when he went down. Quentin wants to know, with Houston on the verge of coming back, should we expect to see him in a closer role before the playoffs? Well, he's going to get 2 outs here, and I think, you know, in a perfect world, that's what Jim Tracy would like. The final 12 ball games get Street back to where he's in the 9th inning. Franklin Morales, who's done everything and then some of him moves back to a setup role, right?
Absolutely. That's what you want him to do. That's what he's paid to do. That's what Street's done such a wonderful job for.
He gets a comebacker and a punch out of a guy who's very difficult to strike out, David Eckstein.
Well, he gets in the game. It's a big thing. He got in the game, got a little bit of extension. By the way, Adrian Gonzalez against Joe Beimel, 1 for 18 till the other day in San Diego, and he got a base hit, 1 for 17. Got a base hit now 2 for 18 in his career versus Joe Beimel.
Plus, it allows George Houston to get back on a big league mound, have success, and then it's still a 2-run game. Not that Houston can't get Adrian Gonzalez, but it's a positive, and you leave and then the next time you pitch a full inning.
You got to win this baseball game. He's looking out there seeing San Francisco down 9-4, and he realized, why put a guy in a position to fail? And if all of a sudden this guy comes up and hits a home run off a streak, now it's a 1-run ball game. Beimel, he's 2 for 18. Obviously, Joe's had a lot of success against him. Now, whether he gets him out or not, the numbers tell you he will. It gets Joe in left on left in a tight game. I mean, it's a win-win situation for everybody, but the main thing that it all comes down to is one thing, is getting that out and winning this baseball game.
Tell you something else, George. I didn't realize this. Beimel hasn't been in a ball game since the San Diego series. You realize that?
Yeah, and pitched a whole lot. It's been Flores and Morales, of course, in the 9th inning. It's a left-hander. Yeah, he has not pitched a lot, and he's used to pitching an awful lot, and that's where he keeps his rhythm and command of the breaking ball.
He didn't pitch in the Giants series or the Arizona series. For Street, that was his first appearance since September 1st against the Mets. And an easy play for Beimel. Street gets the first 2. Beimel takes care of Adrian Gonzalez. Stretch time at Coors Field. Rockies 8, Padres 6. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Ian Stewart is 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. Luis Perdomo with the 1-0 pitch, down low, 2-0. Bottom of the 4th inning, down in the desert, 9-4 Arizona. Here's a 3-0 to Stewart. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Stewart in the bottom of the 7th. That'll bring up Clint Barmas. Clint's got a couple hits tonight. He comes out on deck for the Rockies. Right now, George, it looks like a member of the security staff is going to pinch hit.
Nah, look at that. He's trying to figure out who's in their bullpen and who's getting up and who's ready to go. And so Thatcher, Thatcher, the lefty, he's going to jump up and start throwing. He was throwing earlier.
Could be Atkins then. Spilborghs. Maybe Spilborghs. He may go in defensively also. Or maybe Eric Young Jr. I'm thinking it's going to be Eric Young Jr. What do you think,
so?
George? Yeah, well.
Number 3.
Hey, when the Rockies do what they've done tonight, score 7 or more, go to Taco Bell the following day between 4 and 6, get 4 tacos for $1. Barmas takes a strike, shortened up. I didn't think the security guy was going to hit.
Well, if he's going to, he'd have to dump the radio.
Got a helmet on already.
By the way, if you're wondering why is the security guard sitting there wearing the helmet, it is mandatory in Major League Baseball that the security guard sitting on both sides of the home plate area wear one. If they are on the playing field, there's a second over on the visitor's side.
Plus tonight it helps keep your ears warm. George, he's down the right field line. He had the flap on the wrong ear. This ball is punched to right. Gonzalez is not going to get there. Going to go all the way in the corner. And he hurt himself. Clint Barmas is going to have an inside the park home run. Standing up. They're not even to the baseball yet. 2-run inside the park home run. Luis Gonzalez hurt himself when he dove for the baseball. Edgar, I'm sorry. Luis Gonzalez, Edgar Gonzalez.
Shoulder and elbow. Something popped out on him there. I mean, brother's down to check on him. So is everybody else in the outfield. Trainers are headed that way. Bud Black's headed that way. Man, oh man.
That's the second time, I believe, in Barmas' career that he's had an inside the park home run. He had one back in 2005 at Florida against Al Leiter. And this is his second career inside the park home run. 10-6 Colorado for Barmas' 23rd home run of the year. For the Rockies, it's their 12th all-time inside the park home run.
Well, it started to slice away from him. I think the only opportunity that Gonzalez had to make on the baseball was try to dive because he had committed to do it. But man, he landed right on that shoulder and then he started to roll immediately. Watch this elbow. It was going to pop straight down, and when it did, it's almost as if it got hyperextended. And he just started to roll immediately, and then that ball went all the way down into that corner. But he had to give chase. Barmas just outran everything.
Well, he has had a rough second half. Edgar had the concussion when he was hit by a Jason Hamill pitch and was out for a month. Man, he's in a lot of pain. The last inside the park home run last year, Seth Smith had an inside the parker, and that came against the Pirates.
Well, Venable's going to go to right field for the Padres now as Gonzalez exits the ballpark.
The Rockies with a 4-run lead. Nobody out here in the 7th inning. There's Venable. Eric Young Jr. will be the pinch hitter. And that's down low. Rockies 13-6 in the month of September, trying to win their 8th straight at home. New club record for wins on the road, 40 now, 40-38 with 3 games left at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers closing in on clinching a playoff spot. Their magic number for a playoff spot coming into tonight was 4. It's down to 3 by way of their victory earlier. Young is retired. Will Venable's running over right now to center field for a moment while the be another conference at the mound.
Are they looking at where to play, guys?
I mean, it was a dead sprint. It wasn't like, you know, they're making a pitching change. Usually you see the outfielders get together. Venable was in a dead sprint. With 1 out, Seth Smith's going to come up, and the new pitcher is Aaron Pareda.
Well, that's big left-hander. Let me tell you what, #1 draft pick by the White Sox out of San Francisco University, and Pitched actually in Casper in 07 and moved on up the ladder. And he came over in that trade. Throws extremely hard, but can lose command of that fastball pretty quick. But he will run it up. He could get it 89, 96 with a bunch of movement. Even that trade for Jake Peavy. Starter on Sunday for the Padres going against the Rockies. Saw him last week too. He came over as part of that trade. Clayton Richards, 8-5 on the season, 469 earned run average.
Again, Smith in the ball game in the second inning. Carlos Gonzalez left with tightness in a hamstring after tripling in the first inning. 3-1 on Smith. Smith's got a double and a run scored, strikeout and ground out. Every position player for the Rockies has a hit in the game. Now Smith goes to first. And let's send it down to Mark Stout with tonight's great Colorado Payback sideline report. Mark.
Drew, you guys were talking about earlier about whether Jason Giambi would be available in the postseason. Well, I worked up some numbers on plate appearances in the postseason just to see how many he had over the years compared to the current Rockies. And take a look at this. He has 135 plate appearances in the postseason. The most for Rocky is Orville Torrealba with 42. But remember, he had a few of those with the Giants before he came here to Colorado. Essentially, all the guys that were starters and played in those 12 games, about 40 ABs. So that experience is going to show up in the postseason as well, since he has 3 times as many plate appearances in the playoffs, guys.
Well, plus American League, if you hopefully get that far in the World Series, now you're looking at a DH, get 4 bats out of the guy, too.
Yeah, that's huge. Good point. 0-2 on Dexter. Dexter 2 for 4 this evening. He scored 3 runs. I go back to something Jim Tracy said, very early on after he took over as manager. The Rockies went on that great run. They won 11 in a row. After they'd won 10 in a row, Tracy said, hey, you know what? I'm unfamiliar with anything beyond this. He said, we had a Dodger team that won 10 straight. He goes, these guys have been there before, referring to most of the guys in the Rockies dugout, because the Rockies had that 11-game win streak in 07 and 14 of 15, ultimately 21 out of 22 inside. And now, as Mark points out, if the Rockies are fortunate enough to take care of business these next 11, 12 days and go to the postseason again, it's not a team as bright-eyed as they were 2 years ago. Been there, done that.
Well, they've been there. Absolutely, you're right. They've been there. They've got a manager that's been to the playoffs a couple of times. He knows what he's doing out there. They got some coaches in Richie Dower that's been around the playoff situation when he was with Baltimore.
Don Baylor.
Don Baylor's been around at Cleveland. Rick Dower was in Cleveland.
3-2 and a ground ball to short. There's one, and the throw to first is in time to turn the double play over on Fowler. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple of runs. Ian Stewart led off with a walk, and then Clint Garner's line went down the right field line. Edgar Gonzalez dove for FSN is brought to you by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. By the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package. And by Bird Auto. To find great deals on used cars, visit ColoradoWheelsOnline.com or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. Matt Daly is on to pitch the top of the 8th inning with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Mark Stout is downstairs, so it's cleared up for Mark. It's much more pleasant than it was earlier in the ball game when it was raining a fair amount. Chase Headley takes strike one. An announced crowd of 30,695 battled the elements at Coors Field. They've not been disappointed. The Rockies put a 10th spot up. They've done that with a degree of regularity at home this year, hitting double figures. And George got 10 in the desert on Saturday, 5 against Dan Herron on Sunday. So that's 25 runs the last 3 days for an offense that had been struggling.
Well, they had been struggling out on the road trip. What they had buck 89, something like that. And here at home, big numbers they put up here.
Yeah, they ended up moving it to 205 on that road trip only because of what they did the final 2 ball games. You're right, they were down below 190 the first 7 ball games on the road trip. Jim Tracy, I think, summed it up best as Headley goes down. Given the pitching that they saw and the situation of that road trip, to come home 4-5 and not to lose any ground in the wild card. They left up 4.5. They came home up 4.5. Job well done.
Well, and again, they went 4-5 out on the road, but everybody else didn't have a little trouble out there too. That was the thing about it. You didn't lose anything by coming home. I mean, that's the greatest part about it. The only reason you lost a half a game is because you were off yesterday. You gained it all back in a big way tonight if you can pull this one out.
Yep, you hope Arizona hangs on. They're up by 5 runs in the 5th inning.
What's going on? It's been in the 5th inning for a while.
I'm checking. It is the bottom of the 5th still. It's still 9-4.
Okay. Detroit wins 3-1. What did Minnesota do tonight, Dougie? They win 8-6. That race in the National American League Central stays tight.
1-2 count. 1-2 count on Oscar Salazar.
One thing about it, Minnesota and Chicago, Minnesota and Detroit play 4 games in Detroit this weekend.
Well, he just went to the top of the 6th. Still 9-4. Here's the 1-2 on Salazar. Slider, and he got it.
Back-to-back hard sliders from Daly, now picked up by Headley or Salazar. And he gets 2 strikeouts here in the 8th inning. Make a statement, Matt Daly. He's a guy coming out of Bucknell. He likes that cold weather, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's used to that. He has made a number of statements this year.
Well, he's done a nice job. Kid that went undrafted, kind of mind his manners through the minor leagues, did his work, just kind of made that steady climb, got an opportunity because some other guys' injuries. And the fact he pounded strikes, kept the ball down in the zone. See, that's why it gets me when I hear scouts say, well, you know, he's going to be a middle guy. Yeah, he's 91, 94. Does he get people out? This guy gets people out.
He's going to get the next guy out, too. Todd Helton gets Will Venable in his first at bat. A 1-2-3 8th inning from Matt Daly. We have said that before. 10-6. by an injury to Edgar Gonzalez. He dove and hurt his arm or shoulder.
Well, I hope he's okay.
You know what? He's had a rough year. He's a great kid, and just injury after injury this year. So it turned into a stand-up inside the park home run for Clint Barmas. It's brought to you by Land Rover, designed for the extraordinary.
By the way, how about tonight's Rockies bullpen? 5 2/3 innings, couple of hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. That's pretty good. It ain't over. They still have the ninth. Morales getting loose down in the bullpen for the Rockies to come in to pitch that ninth inning.
Todd Helton's got a couple of hits tonight in RBI, 2 for 4 as he faces Aaron Pareda. Well, it'll ease the pain tonight, George, for Jorge De La Rosa, and that hopefully the club on the way to a victory. There's another hit for Helton. Obviously, he'll be disappointed with his outing. The way he's gone, I suppose he's allowed a hiccup, huh?
Well, exactly. I mean, I think that's the one thing about it. You just wipe this one off and move to the next one. Here it is on Exmo and the Hyundai Cam. You're going to get a shot of this pitch on fastball. Helton that patented inside-out swing and a base hit. It is a thing of beauty to watch.
Bill Gaivetta, we mention often.
Only because he pays us.
He pays us. Was telling a story about Jason Giambi when he first saw him, coming out of high school, going to Long Beach State. He hit the ball. He was a very good hitter, but he hit the ball consistently, to left field. Inside out swing, and the power developed later. Todd Helton. Tennessee hit some home runs early in his minor league career. Inside out swing. And hit the ball the other way. Todd still does that. But you're talking about two guys with more than 700 home runs in their career. The power's the last thing. Major league hitters will tell you, hitting coaches will tell you, the last thing to come for a good hitter and a guy who has the physical strength to do it is the power.
Well, the power comes, when they get mature physically. Obviously, some guys have the ability to put weight on through weights as they get a little bit older, but the body gives it to you, the hand speed, the bat speed. What'd you say earlier? Hop 4 years in a row now, 20 home runs for Brad Hop.
Yep, pretty good stuff.
Well, I'll tell you this, too. I mean, it really, because of it has had some offensive struggles, and his average isn't what it's supposed to be. 241. Think about this. Clint Barmas has 76 RBIs. 76. And has not played. I mean, you got to think of the games he's had off, too. It's outstanding. 3 RBIs tonight for Mr. Barmas.
Yeah, the Rockies will probably not have a 100 RBI guy this year.
They had a whole bunch of 70s and 80s, though.
Exactly. It would take someone like Tulowitzki just to go absolutely bonkers here in the last 11 ball games. Tulowitzki has 82 RBIs, including the one he's driven in tonight.
Barmas was 76. Hop 79. Helton 78.
He's got one tonight. Todd's got 79. Stewart's got 69.
Stewart was 69. Ionetta's got 50, and he hadn't played in a month.
Did you throw Smith out there, George?
He's got 52.
And a walk to Tulowitzki. 2 on, nobody out. Talking about how good I'm sorry, real quick, how good the bullpen been for the Rockies. It's been the exact opposite.
They've had a little trouble with that. The Coca-Cola Value Packs are the best deal in the ballpark and are now available on Monday through Thursday games in September. Guess what, folks? Today's Tuesday. Thursday's coming up. We got next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to do that on a value pack. $49, 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, a parking, and a Rockies magazine. 1-800-388-ROCK or just go online to ColoradoRockies.com. Place your orders. Well, this young kid out on the mound, I mentioned earlier, he came over in that trade for Jake Peavy. #1 draft pick just a couple of years ago. Kind of getting rushed along a little bit here, trying to get him to the big leagues, trying to figure it out. Darren Balsley, Bud Black, obviously like a left-handed arm that can throw the ball in the low to mid-90s.
Brad with a home run tonight. The Rockies 15-4 when he hits a home run this year.
Burke, the right-hander, he had been a little stiff shoulder when we were out in San Diego earlier last week. And Mike Adams had been a very good addition to their bullpen. He's back healthy again on the active roster, ready to go.
Tulo's at first and Helton at second. Todd 3 hits tonight. That's one more than he had on the entire 9-game road trip. 3-1 on Hop.
I got a feeling this may be his last man either way. Nobody out, right-handed hitter in the on-deck circle. Burke's ready, the right-hander.
Brad has walked 74 times this year. That's second on the club to Helton. Todd's walked 81 times. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4. 75 walks and the bases are loaded. Nobody out for Yorvik Torrealba, who has thrived this year with the bases loaded. And Bud Black's going to have to go to the bullpen one more time. Rockies up 10-6, looking to add on here in the 8th inning. Eighth inning, Helton singled. He's now at third base. Tulowitzki walked. He's at second. Brad Hop walked. He's at first. Nobody has been retired. Pareda is out of there. Yorvik Torrealba is waiting to hit with the bases loaded. And there's a new arm out there. His name is Greg Burke.
You can see what's happened with him. It's 10 of 11 inherited runners have been stranded out on those base paths. They're hoping to do it here with nobody out and the bases loaded. Face Yorvik Torrealba with the bases loaded, 3 for 4 so far in the season. 7 RBIs.
Torrealba, who was the Rockies' everyday catcher in the stretch run of 07. And he's been the everyday catcher in the month of September. Starting his 17th game tonight out of the last 20. Infield is in. Rockies leading 10-6.
The Rockies are the best in the National League average-wise with the bases loaded, 327 as the ball club.
love to hit in these situations. A lot of holes with the infield pulled in.
You just got to think about solid contact. Don't think about trying to hit a grand slam.
And that's been the key to his success over the last month. He's worn out the middle of the field. Said it the other day. About 4 or 5 times in the last 10 days, he's almost hit a pitcher with a bullet back through the originator. That misses. 2-1. Good eye by Torrealba. Here's the 2-1 and chopper that they're going to get the force at the plate. It's played by Cabrera. So
nice play by, how about a nice play by Blanco?
Yeah, you're right. By Blanco also.
All he had to do was catch a ground ball. It was 80 feet hit to him. On then throw the dress tie to home plate. I think it was more of the better play was Blanco. Watch him at home plate. Watch when he catches this ball. So you got a nice little Christmas hop. It's a good thing he's a catcher. Did this ball cut, sink? What did it do? Well, cut away from him. Blanco's thinking, you know what, son, let me help you out here. If you throw this thing chest high, I got a chance to turn 2.
Well, by the way,
I have no chance to turn 2 when you put it down there.
Here's Stewart. How about a good play on both ends? That wasn't a Christmas hop. That was a little tweener. Inside, or nope, on the inside part of the plate for a strike on Stewart. Stewart, a single and 2 walks tonight. He's 1 for 2. So the base is still loaded and 1 out.
Stewart like to capitalize, get better obviously in this situation. 2 for 12 so far in the season with the bases loaded. Chance to get some ribbies right here. 69 add to the total. Join that 70 group with a whole bunch of other guys on this ball club. Stu's already got 70. He looked back through the bunch. Did he get one early in the game? Did not.
This gets away and goes up to the top of the screen. Tulowitzki jogs home. It's 11-6.
Is that second or third wild pitch? They've had a couple of 2 at home and 1 to second.
There's 2. There's a balk that allowed a run in, and that's the second run that scored tonight on a wild pitch. So 3 runs is scored because of pitcher miscues.
No, that's a big miscue. See where that ball hit? That ball hit almost 6 feet out in front of home plate. Good luck, Henry. Talking about Henry Blanco behind the plate. He just took a shot right off the forearm trying to keep that thing there.
Also, remember there's a pass ball on Blanco. It's just been an awful game for the Padres, and the Rockies taking advantage. Second and third.
Yeah, good teams are supposed to.
That's right. Boy, Stewart had a healthy hack there. That would have been touch of ball if we got this one in the air. Look at this swing.
Yeah, big time swing. Just worked up underneath the baseball a little bit. Watch Stewart's head. Watch the eyes. Does it stay on the baseball? You bet. With that last second, just a little bit of a move on it. Prevented from solid contact.
Rockies have scored in every inning but the 5th inning tonight. And Stewart is gone. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Clint Barnes. Well, we are thrilled to tell you that if the Rockies move on to the postseason, we will move on with them. We'll have pre- and post-game shows throughout the playoffs. As long as the Rockies stay alive, we'll be with them every step of the way. Again, pre- and post-game shows throughout the postseason should the Rockies move deep into October. And pregame shows will start 30 minutes before the first pitch. Postgame shows immediately after the final out. Barmas tonight, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, 2 singles, and that 2-run inside the park home run. Outside, 2-0.
I know this much. Kid is looking over in the on-deck circle going, oh, you know, I'll pitch around Barmas. See it inside to Parker. Giambi's sitting over there. Thinking, no, I don't think so. Well, right now they've sent Morales down because it's not a safe situation. Rockies with a 5-run lead. They have Juan Rincon up down in the bullpen to come in and pitch the 9th inning, getting loose.
Three and 1 with Giambi on deck. Barmas 3 and 1, looking for something on the inner half, didn't get it. Let that fastball go by. 3 and 2. Rockies 11 runs, 14 hits tonight in their return to Coors Field. Looking for their 46th win, at 20th and Blake this year. 9-4, 7th inning, Arizona over San Francisco. Here's a 3-2 again. Outside, and now to load it up for the Gladiator, Russell Crowe. I'm thinking Burke didn't want to face Giambi. The great Giambi.
You know what? I'm just thinking that's probably not the guy he wanted to face. Probably could have asked in the dugout, maybe. Can I pick somebody else out of there?
We picked that guy to shoot the free throws. I mean, that
Is there anybody else over there?
last 2 games, he's hit a home run in each one of them.
Let's see if he gets a pitch to hit or if they walk him. On Sunday's ball, the one prior to this was a rocket. Well, this one followed it right back up again. Against Dan Herron. He just smoked this thing to right field. Prior to that, he'd been 2 for 14 against Dan Herron. Has quite a following already. And why not?
1-0 on Giambi. Bases full of Rockies. They're up 11-6 in the 8th. And this one the backstop again, and this one didn't work out so well. Giambi is not going to get the finishes at bat. Brad Hopp cut down, trying to score on another wild pitch or near wild pitch. 11-6 Colorado.
And also Tracy Ringlesby threatening to take off his shirt during the post-game show to prove how cold he thinks it is not. That's all coming up right after the game, Drew.
We want people to watch, Tom. Do you understand
right.
that?
Tracy,
you understand we want viewers?
I promise Tracy will stay dressed the entire post-game.
That's better. That's a far better promo. All right, we'll look forward to that now that we have learned that Tracy will stay clothed. Rockies up by 5 runs. Juan Rincon will face Henry Blanco to begin the 9th inning. Blanco tonight is 1 for 3. Had an RBI hit back in the 3rd inning. That chased Jorge De La Rosa. Matt Belisle will get the win. Everything stands pat. And there's strike 1. Jason Marquis and right-hander Tim Stoffer tomorrow. One and two. We've been bouncing around a little bit tonight. Rockies got Houston Street into the ball game for a couple of outs in the 7th inning. He got a little comebacker and a punch out. He looked terrific. First action since September the 1st for the Rockies closer. And the slider is back up the middle. Easy play for Tulowitzki with his range. One out, and that'll bring up Anthony Gwynn. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Rockies trying to improve to 14-6 in the month of September. Here's the 1-0, 2-0. You know, when Jim Tracy, George, took over, people realized the Rockies were 10 games under 500. At the time, with 28 losses, the only team in baseball that had more losses, the Washington Nationals. Think about that. I mean, the Rockies were horrible. Other than the Washington Nationals, they would have been the worst team in baseball by record at that point in time. And now look at where they are and on the cusp of going to the postseason.
Because of that guy right there in the dugout, too. I mean, obviously players have to perform. You got to win ball games, but you put them in a place to succeed. Jim Tracy's done just that. I did a radio show in New York last night, and they asked me one of the questions, who you name another manager who done anything like this? Well, the only guy I could come up with was Phil Garner with Houston when they went to the World Series. Took the team over and turned it around, and off they went.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Jack McKeon in 03 when he took over for Jeff Torborg, he deserves credit. They ended up winning the World Series that year. Mid-season managerial change, but as far back as the Rockies are now, where they are, if they win tonight, they'll be 21 games over 500. It's just it's been a remarkable turnaround.
Well, it's a whole different locker room. Plain and simple. It's a whole different attitude. Tell you what, the rain's picked up a little bit again. Picked up pretty good.
Yeah, this is Drew Macias pinch hitting. Drew Macias at the plate against Rincon after the walk to Gwynn. So left shoulder injury, by the way, to Edgar Gonzalez. A subluxation of his left shoulder. Two-one on Macias, 3-1. See what Juan's trying to do. He's trying to throw strikes naturally. Gwynn moves up on the wild pitch.
Yeah, and the bullpen's going to get busy again. That's something else you didn't want to do. Franklin Morales is going to have to get up and start throwing. And the reason why, obviously, he's the closer and you got a 5-run lead. You don't want things to get out of hand, but he's also the fastest and quickest to be loose right now for Jim Tracy.
Three and two. Arizona's added on again, George. It's 10-4.
But games like that can break you back. Randy Johnson pitching for the Giants now. That game was walked in a seal.
Yeah.
Bob
Apodaca is going to go out. This is upsetting the wandering cone.
It's upsetting to everybody standing around. It's not. Here's the thing about it, folks. He's not trying to throw balls. He's not trying to walk people. He's trying to get through an inning.
Yeah, for everybody in the ballpark and at home saying, throw the ball over the plate. Boy, he's trying to throw the ball over the plate.
That's why it cracks me up a lot of time. When I used to coach Little League Baseball a lot with the kids growing up and being around, and everybody in the stands, everybody out there is going, throw a strike, throw a strike. And I used to call timeout. And go get the loudest kid on the field and go, okay, your turn to pitch. What? I got to pitch? Yeah, it's your turn to pitch. You think he's trying to walk everybody, throw all these balls here? You've been yelling out there in the outfield. It's your turn to try for a while. Zippy. They're like, okay, I understand. He's not trying to do poorly. Well, it's the same thing anywhere else. I mean, guys are trying to throw strikes. They're not trying to walk people to set it up so they give up a base hit. They're going to give up some runs.
Everett Cabrera 0 for 4. He takes ball one. And 2-0. I know exactly what Jim Tracy's thinking. I know the scoreboard says it's a 5-run lead and there's one out. He's thinking about Adrian Gonzalez a little further down. Adrian Cone gets a nice feed from Helton, 2 outs.
A quick way to end it all, just get the out. And he got one there.
And now Eckstein coming up. So Eckstein 0 for 3 and a walk. Scored a run back at the third against wandering Cone with 2 outs. And a fastball for a strike. One and one. If you come, you stay for all of the pitches, all of the outs, no matter the elements. Move your team on. Here's the 2-1, 3-1. As it gets to Gonzalez, George, you may see Franklin Morales in this ballgame.
Well, obviously that's not what you want to get into. You'd really rather not. You'd rather see Rincon go. But if he's heated and ready to go, I mean, come in and get the last out.
Base is loaded. Base is loaded. He may be forcing Jim Tracy's hand. Yep. And Jim's going to have to go and get his closer. It is a safe situation. No, no, it's not a safe situation. There's 2 outs. Well, you get in that rule where the tying run. I got to think about this.
Tying run in the on deck circle with less than 2 outs.
But it's got to be less than 2 outs.
Right. Rincon not able to finish it. Boy, the rain's really coming down at the yard now. That doesn't make it any easier. 11-6, bases loaded. Morales Morales on his way.
Morales has been summoned. Wandering Cohen just didn't have any fastball command tonight. He's walked the bases loaded. No hits in the inning.
Gonzalez 2 for 7 with the bases loaded. 16 of 20 inherited runners have got to stay right where they were when Morales came into the ball game. We hope to do the same here with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and the Rockies on top at 11-6.
Rusty Ryle has hit a home run against Randy Johnson to make it 10-4. Arizona.
You know, and I know Randy wants to come out. I know he wants to finish pitching, and nobody wanted to sit on the DL. It's unfortunate the way things have kind of gone for him. Rough outing the other day in L.A. the other day.
And ball 1 for Morales. Gonzalez a couple of hits tonight, 2 for 3, also a walk and a run scored. 2 runs scored, in fact. And there's a strike. And a blooper to left that's going to score a couple of runs. So Gonzalez with his 93rd and 94th RBIs. Those runs charged to Wandering Cone. And Chase Headley coming up, and he represents the tying run. He's got a dozen home runs. He hit one yesterday.
Fastball up out, came up in a little bit into the hands with some late tail, and Gonzalez very strong, able to fight that off. He has 94 RBIs on the season now. You can't make a mistake. I mean, these guys practice too. They're going to take advantage of it. That ball was up into the zone.
This is a pop foul out of play. I mean, you start an inning up 5 runs. The way this game's gone, the last thing you're thinking about in the Rockies dugout is you're going to be on pins and needles 15 minutes later. And that's where the Rockies are right now. Jim Tracy's having to pace a little bit.
Well, plus with this rain coming down, you can start to get a slick infield. A lot of different things can happen with that. You know, anybody getting hurt trying to field the baseball and trying to grip a hold of it. It's the hardest on a pitcher because in your mind you're saying you know those cleats are going to hit, you know they're going to hold you, you're not going to have a problem. But the minute you have a little bit of a slide when you land, it automatically goes into your head. You're pitching on a wet surface. And, you know, that concern comes in. You're going to land and really kind of stomp the foot down and keep it in a position.
1-2. Headley had 5 hits, a career best yesterday, 3 doubles and a home run. He's 1 for 4 tonight. One of the outs he made was a line shot to second. So he is swinging the bat very well. Batting in the cleanup spot for San Diego. 2 on. Rockies up 3 runs. Looking for one more strike. Here's the 1-2. High 2-2. If you're Jim Tracy, you want to get that final out and get everybody in the clubhouse and drop. 3-2. Wasn't supposed to be this hard. Fouled off. Rockies have used 8 pitchers tonight. De La Rosa goes 2 2/3. Belaya was terrific. He goes 2 2/3. 2/3 for Flores. Street 2/3. Bible a third. Daly an inning. Rincon the first 2 outs of this inning, but he walked 3. 3-2 on Headley. Ball 4. And now you're going to have the go-ahead run coming to the plate. You put the tying run on base. Oscar Salazar coming up, and he's been very clutch in a brief time with the San Diego Padres. The Rockies have walked 8 all of a sudden in the game, and it was De La Rosa walking 4, Rincon 3 in the inning, and now Morales adding to that total. This has turned into the most elusive out of the year. Strike 1. Salazar tonight, a 2-run triple early. A walk, fly ball to right field, and a strikeout. Nobody's up in the Rockies bullpen. It's all on Morales. Breaking ball for a strike. Now finishing.
Well, it's in your court. Bounce the hook. Do whatever you got to do. Just don't leave anything up into the zone.
Here's the 0-2. Line drive foul. I'll tell you what, if that thing lands fair, this ball game may be tied. One-two, and that's pop foul out of play.
Pretty good pitches on 1-2 count. Ball up, an off-speed pitch. Didn't snap it. Didn't get it to that back foot. We talked about that in an email earlier. Drop it on the back foot. Force him to hit the ball. And with a right-handed hitter up, left-handed pitcher on the mound, it's imperative the Stewart plays either 1 or 2 feet off of the line where you can be able to pick that double off.
You got your closer, George closer in now 15+ pitches. And this ball is hit to shallow right. It's going to drop. 2-run score. The tying run to third base. You got to be kidding me. It's 11-10. Will Venable is due up.
Well, they could go
They got Hundley and Kuzminoff on the right side, but Kuzminoff's not healthy.
Hundley's got to be the guy they go to. It looks like that's who it is coming out in the on-deck circle.
It's going to be Nick Hundley.
Well, off the end of the bat, let's see where this ball was. Breaking ball, not a bad pitch at all. That ball's down into the strike zone. And Morales is able to dump this thing out to right field. I mean, excuse me, Salazar is right out in front of Hop. Hop's not going to be able to make a play on that ball. And yeah, you got a first and third. And here's the key to it, too. Don't try to overthrow the breaking ball, but yet don't leave it up in strike zone. I mean, it's kind of like the wild pitch bug's been here all night. You know, you don't want it to hit on this side of things. Morales on the year. Well, he's on the other side of the paper. He got turned over. I don't think he had very many wild pitches, though. For Morales. Trying to look at something upside down. I just tear things apart. How do you like that? Just 2 wild pitches on the season. So take that out. Torrealba's got to block it. Hundley's going to come. Now, this kid coming in, Durango, I've had scouts tell me he's going to go in pinch run at first base. He has 3/8 speed up the line. He can flop.
He's the go-ahead run. Hundley's 1 for 2 pinch hitting this year. So here we go. Tying run is at third base. Franklin Morales has given up a single, really a bloop single to Gonzalez. He walked Headley and then a bloop single to Oscar Salazar. And it's inside on Hundley. The Padres have hit around. When this inning started, it was 11-6. Rincon got 2 outs, but he also walked the bases loaded. And it's a line drive to deep left field, and it's caught. Right. Tell you what, off the bat, I wasn't sure Smith was going to have a play on it. I thought it may get over his head. The Rockies survive a 4-run 9th inning, and they can take a collective breath now. 11-10, they win it. Wow. Not the 9th inning they were looking for, but they'll take the W. They've won 8 straight at home.